Board of County Commissioners meeting. Today is Tuesday, September 23rd, and it is 9 a.m. We will call the meeting to order. Please remember to silence your phone. We'll start with the invocation led by Pastor Alan Baggett of Connect Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Larry Harvey. Please stand if you're able to do so.
Please let us pray. Father God, the maker of heaven and earth, Lord, we thank you, Lord, for this day, for this is the day that you've made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. We give you honor, Lord, and glory this day, and we are, Lord, so grateful for you. You are worthy, Lord, of our praise. We thank you, God, for this great nation in which we live. We thank you for the great state of Florida, and we thank you that we call Putnam County our home. Thank you, God, for each commissioner, and thank you for the individuals who helped to facilitate this meeting today. We ask you, Lord, that you would be with us during this meeting. We pray, God, that you will direct each decision that is made. For your word tells us to trust in the Lord with all of our heart and lean not on our own understanding. But in all of our ways, we are to acknowledge you, Lord, and you will direct our paths. We pray all these things, Father God, faith believing in your Son's most powerful name, the name of Jesus. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Baggett. We appreciate it. We'll move into the approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes for August 26, 2025.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, going into presentations. Do we have anyone here for the domestic violence presentation? All right, we will move on, and we'll do that one, I guess, at another time. SMA Healthcare. Good morning, Ms. Russo.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Wilkinson and Commissioners. It's a beautiful day here in Putnam County. I want to thank you so much for inviting us to be here today. My name is Salvatore Gentoli. I'm the Vice President of Community Engagement. You already know Dr. Russo. She's our Vice President here in Putnam County. Please feel free to call me Tori. That's my nickname. My father was also Salvatore. Mom called him Sal. I got Tori, and we knew who was in trouble. Made things a lot easier around the house. So we're here this morning to give you a quick update on SMA and what we're doing in Putnam County. But I want to start with a quick history of our company. Won't take too long at all. We are the product of many mergers and acquisitions. We've been around for a very long time. We started off down in Volusia County and Flagler County as well. In 2008, there was a merger between the ACT Corporation that did all of the mental health treatment in the area and Stuart Marchman Center that did all of the substance use treatment. That was the Reverend Hal Marchman and the Honorable Judge Leon Stewart, who had founded that center way back in 1970. So 2008, SMA, Stuart Marchman Act Behavioral Healthcare, came to be. In 2012, we acquired Putnam St. John's Behavioral Health. That got us up here into Putnam County. In 2015, we went out to DeLand and acquired Windward Behavioral Health. That gave us a men's program to complement the women's program that we had in Bunnell. In 2018, we rebranded to become SMA Healthcare, and the reason for that rebranding was that we added primary care to our continuum of services. It's very important that people are able to get all of their health needs met in the same place, and we were very excited to become a federally qualified healthcare center lookalike and became SMA Healthcare. And then most recently in 2021, we merged with the centers and that got us out into Marion and Citrus counties. So our mission is to transform lives through exceptional substance abuse, mental health, and primary care services, and we envision a community where everybody has access to the healthcare services needed to find hope, healing, and recovery. Our values guide the way, and this is why Nancy and I have been with SMA for so very long. When you find a company where the values align with your own personal values, it makes all the difference. It really doesn't feel like work. I'm sure that you all know what I'm talking about. And those are accountability, transparency, leadership, accessibility, and service. And it is a privilege for us to be here serving the citizens of Putnam County. We are a safety net provider, so we're able to provide care to everybody and anybody regardless of their ability to pay, which is an incredibly important thing. Our annual funding, we have a budget of just under $100 million. We've got just over 1,100 employees. You can see we do receive a lot of money from the state, which does allow us to serve individuals who are considered medically indigent. This is for fiscal year 23-24, I believe. So this is 2 fiscal years ago. SMA as a whole served a little over 37,000 people in our 6-county footprint. SMA provides the full continuum of care: prevention, outpatient, residential, and crisis services. We have a 24/7 helpline that folks can call to access our services. That also serves as a mobile crisis response team in a few of our counties. We do outreach and awareness events in all of our counties, and we have in-school programs as well, and here in Putnam too. We do a lot of community education. We offer therapy to people of all ages, along with case management and substance abuse and mental health therapy. We do psychiatric medication management, and we have medication-assisted treatment, or MAT, and that is the use of Subutex and Suboxone for individuals who have substance use disorders. We have a pharmacy, and we offer primary care as well. For residential, we do have a men's program, we have a women's program, and we're soon going to be opening up a program for men and women right here in Putnam County. We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit here. And we also have a men's work release program that's been around since the 1980s called Reality House, an incredible program. We have an incredibly low recidivism rate with the graduates from that program. We're looking at right around 5% of the graduates from that program. It's all about giving people the skills they need to successfully reintegrate into our communities. If we can do that, we can lower recidivism, we can lower substance use, and of course the risk of overdose and death. And then for crisis services, we do have a crisis stabilization unit and detox unit. Those are down in Volusia County and out in Marion County. And we're working to connect folks in Putnam with those services, as well as Meridian Healthcare here in Putnam. So Putnam specific services. So we served 1,903 clients in fiscal year 23-24. Unfortunately, we saw that number drop a little bit in the most recent fiscal year to right over 1,700. I was speaking with Nancy about this morning and the reasons for that. We are down a licensed therapist. It's been very hard to hire licensed therapists, not just here in Putnam, but throughout our entire footprint. And that did reduce our capacity for services, unfortunately, but we're working to get one on board so we can help more people out. We have outpatient therapy for people of all ages. Again, we offer psychiatric services, and we do Florida Assertive Community Treatment for adults. That's FACT. That's working with adults who have severe and persistent mental illnesses like schizophrenia, basically allowing them to live out in the community, supporting them so they can live a full, whole life. We do case management. We have a drop-in center in Palatka and primary care for all ages. Again, we do prevention and intervention for middle school and high school students, and we have assisted outpatient treatment for adults. This last program is a really exciting one. So this is for individuals who don't meet the criteria to be held in a crisis center on a Baker Act against their will, but they also don't have the capacity to really make it out in the community on their own. And the missing component there is the outpatient services. These are folks who do not follow up. So we're going to be working in conjunction with the court to get these folks adjudicated to their outpatient services so they can stay healthy and stable in our communities without having the need to go through that revolving door of crisis care. And we got a little QR code there. If you want to click on that, that gets you right to our website for future use. You have that in the handout. It's kind of nifty. And we are a big part of the opioid response program here in Putnam County. Again, we do medication-assisted treatment, and we've got some grants from the federal government for neonatal abstinence syndrome and youth and family tree. And we're also part of the coordinated opioid recovery. And Dr. Russo will talk a little bit about these grants. She will.
So for neonatal abstinence syndrome, that's really a lot of outreach and teaching in the community about opioid use disorder, especially how it affects women of childbearing age and what happens when you become pregnant and using, and the dangers involved with the pregnancy as well as the delivery. And we engage those women in medication-assisted treatment and therapies. And so far, we've had 5 pregnant women come through that program that were able to keep their newborns home instead of being a part of the child welfare system, because when the babies were born, they tested positive for only the approved medications for opioid use disorder. So without these services, child welfare would get involved and remove those children. So we've been able to do that. And also part of that is we have a whole room full of baby items to help comfort the babies and allow the mothers to be successful bringing them the newborns home. Our youth and family tree, that is for ages 12 through 25. And what we do is we wrap services around the individual. That's why it's called Youth and Family Tree. So anybody involved in that person's life. It could be a coach at school. It could be a probation officer. It could be somebody from church, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever that person is involved with that cares about them will help wrap those services around them. And then the programming we use for that is specifically targeted for that population. And then CORE is the grant through LSF. It's part of the opioid abatement money, and it's a partnership with the county and the paramedicine program that has allowed us to expand our medication-assisted treatment hours and employ a peer for that service. Back to you.
I appreciate the color commentary, Nancy. You know about this stuff in much greater detail than I do. So we're just a call away. This is our 24/7 helpline, 800-539-4228, and the citizens here in Putnam County can call that anytime, day or night, any day of the week, and be connected with our services. So our goals here in Putnam County are to operate as a no wrong door provider, ensuring that Putnam County citizens are provided service and guidance regardless of their ability to pay. We're looking to expand our service delivery in Putnam County in every area of that continuum of care that you saw earlier in the presentation. And we want to make sure that every resident has access to the continuum of care. And if we don't have that service, then we're going to do a warm handoff with a provider that does, or with one of our other programs in a different county. And to make a long story short, we are here to serve, and it is a privilege for us to do so. If you haven't been out to see our campus over at 330 K Larkin Drive, please do take us up on the invitation to tour there. We have a very exciting program underway. It's going to be opening up in fall of 2025. We're working on the renovations now. This is an adult residential and reentry treatment program, and this is going to serve 15 men and women, citizens of Putnam County, some from St. John's as well. We're going to be working with the SAO and the public defender, as well as the courts and the sheriff's offices. This will be a place where individuals who are stepping out of incarceration can find a path to reentry and recovery. We're going to help them get the skills they need to become contributing members of the community here in Putnam. And we're also looking to expand out our primary care program. Nancy, I believe that's with SOI, with LSF for core dollars, right? We've been able to double our hours?
No, we have a full-time clinic.
Full-time clinic, okay. So yeah, so we have expanded out to a full-time clinic now for primary care as well. Anything else you want to add? Did you have any questions for us this morning, commissioners?
Yes, sir, I believe we do. We'll start with Commissioner Alexander. You're recognized.
Thank you.
Tori and Nancy, thank you guys for coming in. As a new commissioner, Madam Chair recommended that I visit the Behavioral Health Consortium. I wasn't sure what it was. I didn't know if she was sending me to treatment or what her goal was, but I was unfamiliar with a lot of the programs that were offered in Putnam County. I wasn't aware. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we face is sharing the activities and the opportunities for help and service that are out there. I've visited your facility. I see what you guys have done. I understand the struggles that you have with the therapist and finding someone that's willing to come to this area for the amount of money that we have the ability to pay. What you guys do, it's a passion, and I thank you guys for doing it, and I just want the public to be aware of your services, and I don't know the best way to share it, but I just wanted to bring attention to what you guys are doing and the dedication that you provide to our community, and thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you for those kind words, Commissioner Alexander. Part of my job, this is a new function for SMA Healthcare, and part of my job is to help get the word out about what we do. So I'll be up here in Putnam far more frequently. I'll be dragging Nancy out of her office. I'll be forcing her in front of the microphone. We're going to make the rounds and make sure that all of our community partners know who we are. We're also going to be looking at ways to collaborate with all of our different community partners here in Putnam County. That's essential for us to be able to be truly accessible to all of the citizens. So thank you, sir. It's a privilege.
Thank you. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to echo what Commissioner Alexander said. I appreciate SMA and what they've done in Putnam County since the years that I've been here. But I think it is hard. It's hard to get your story out. None of us can get our story out the way we want to get it out, and it's just the way it is. But I think what we need to do, and I appreciate you coming today, is to keep telling that story. Keep coming to us, and hopefully that'll get out, because I got a call the other day from a young man that we were trying to help, and I think he wound up being Baker acted. His family couldn't deal with it, and I'm sure he went to y'all. I'm sure he did. I'm not going to ask, and I don't want to, we can't do that. But the call I got was, there's nobody in Putnam County that provides services. And you go, that's just not right. Yeah. That's not right. There's a misconception out there that even though you don't see it, it's happening in the county. So I think the more you can tell your story to the audience that you need to tell it to, and I don't know who that audience is, I have some ideas, and I'll be glad to share it with you. But truly getting your story out, there is help out there for people in Putnam County that have mental illness. And we're seeing it probably, I don't want to say more and more, but maybe it's just because of the homeless population, especially out in the West End. I'm seeing it. You can tell when people are walking down the road talking to themselves and having an argument with themselves, something ain't right. I argue with myself, but I don't do it verbally. Okay. So, but you can tell, and I don't make light of that, but it's very prevalent right now. And I appreciate y'all being there to help those that are less fortunate in our county. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, Commissioner Harvey, and I appreciate the guidance, and we appreciate the support of the commission. And the onus really is on us as well to get out there and tell our story, and we will be doing precisely that. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions on do you still have a mobile response team in Putnam?
That's with the Children's Home Society, and it's for all ages.
Okay. All right. And then your in-school program, are you still working with the school district? Because at their last meeting, I heard they were saying that they needed more providers in the school system. So, and that was at their meeting. So I don't know if you've been able to help with that.
We do a level of prevention and intervention. Okay. So that's a lesser service than like individual therapy, and it's more towards substance use and not mental health.
Okay, I gotcha. And then you said you work closely with the paramedicine program?
Yes.
We're excited about that. Obviously, that's near and dear to our hearts. And then on your residential program, you said you're going to have 15 men and women. Is that total or is that each?
It's total.
Okay. And I just want to say I see Rep. Payne in the room, former Rep. Payne. That was from a appropriation we got through his office. So we are renovating that building, and that's the first time we've had that
in a while.
In a long time. So, and how would a patient come to you under those circumstances? Is it just through the jail system?
It's criminal justice focused right now because that's how the appropriations were originally written. But after at least the first year, and we develop a new goals for the program, and have that request approved, then we can change it and open it up to more.
Well, that was one of the things we were seeing. People were released from the jail and they didn't have a place to go. They didn't have a pathway, and this creates a pathway with them. And hopefully they learn job skills, or they get on the right path and can get back and being productive citizens. So I appreciate that. All right, are there any other questions for the presenter? All right, thank you. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you very much. Look forward to working with you, and we really do appreciate the support.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Is there anyone here from Meridian Healthcare? All right, Meridian Healthcare.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've got a presentation here, which I believe you have in your packets, but we should. Does anyone know how to log in for the? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, good morning, and thank you so much for having us here today. I appreciate the opportunity to speak and share some of the information on our services from the last fiscal year. For those of you I haven't met in this capacity, my name is Lauren Cohn, and I am now the President and CEO of Meridian Healthcare. You'll notice in this year's presentation that it looks a little bit different, some exciting changes, including the introduction of sort of the new look of our brand. We have changed from Meridian Behavioral Healthcare to Meridian Healthcare. There's so much more that we do than just behavioral healthcare, so we really wanted the name and the representation of that brand to reflect that. So you'll see those changes and showing an evolution, but that we're continuing to serve the community, including Putnam County, in new ways. A little bit of information on Meridian. We've been in operation since 1971, delivering behavioral health services across 14 counties in North Central Florida. Our approach focuses on whole person care, emphasizes hope and empathy, and it's our ambition to transform communities like Putnam County by supporting individuals through our comprehensive behavioral health treatment and services tailored to the diverse needs of the communities we serve. Our core values include hope, empathy, accountability, resilience, and teamwork. And you'll notice that those values spell heart. So we believe we're always trying to come and lead with heart. This is a representation of our continuum of care and the various programs that we offer, designed to meet the needs of adults, children, and the families we serve. They span integrated treatment, education and outreach, and supportive services, including prevention efforts, and reflecting a holistic approach to behavioral health. Our commitment to evolving services ensures we remain responsive to the unique and changing needs of the community. Telehealth services, to reflect on some telehealth services. In the past fiscal year, we had 370 Putnam County residents that received almost 2,500 telehealth services in the past fiscal year. This represents a convenient and easy way to access services, especially overcoming transportation barriers or other challenges that may present difficulty accessing services in the brick and mortar location. Who we have served in the past fiscal year. This shows a breakdown of insights to the clients we've served in Putnam County, highlighting the diversity of those individuals. Age distribution highlights a significant portion of clients are young to middle-aged adults. Understanding these demographics is what helps us tailor our programming to meet the unique needs of those individuals. What do clients say? This is a slide that represents some feedback we received from clients, not just on their satisfaction, but also the effectiveness of services and their improved functioning. So we had 75% of adults and 74% of children report improved functioning and reduction of symptoms overall. That's what keeps people engaged, willing to return, and willing to participate in services. The next slide shows the services provided to Putnam County residents in the last fiscal year. So you've got the range and volume of services In the past fiscal year for adults, we see 55 in acute care, 193 in outpatient treatment, 166 in medication-assisted treatment, 172 in psychiatric care, and 11 residential. For children, we've got 27 in acute care, 69 in outpatient treatment, 66 in our access and emergency screening department, 51 in psychiatric care, and 4 in youth residential services. Our next slide reflects our payer mix. So we accept a wide range of payers, including local public funds that are the payer of last resort. The ability to pay, as mentioned earlier by another provider, is not a barrier to receiving services. We have a variety of options that make our services accessible for all. The majority of clients we see are at or below the federal poverty guidelines, with 83.31% being at or below poverty guidelines for Putnam County. 3% of those services provided were ineligible for any subsidy to address the cost of care, but the vast majority were. You'll see the breakdown. We've got 59% of services in fiscal year 2025 were paid for with indigent care from the state, 21% covered by Medicaid, 25% have some form of insurance, but that insurance only covered 7% of the services those individuals needed and received. We are required to generate local match funds for some of our state and federal funds. So this year, for our local match, we are requesting the same as our contract last year, bringing that request to $55,000. I've provided my contact information. I'm happy to answer any questions or provide any additional information. We're hoping to continue to grow our relationship, continue to serve more clients, especially in our medication-assisted treatment location, as we know that that's a great need.
Okay, so I'll start. So you're on your funding requirement, you said for fiscal year 2026, you have $2.3 million in your slide. Is that for Putnam County only?
That's our match requirement overall for our whole organization.
Okay, that was my question. All right. And then on the slide where you spoke about residential, 11 for adults and 4 for children, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, those, we don't have a residential treatment facility in this county. So those youth were served in our residential treatment facility, which is in Columbia County, and our adult residential treatment facility, which is in Gainesville, Alachua County.
Okay. And then on your slide where you talked about 83% poverty, with 3% of those services were ineligible for any subsidy to address the cost of care, is that where the $55,000 that you're requesting goes? Or is it just overall?
It does. It goes to match the Baker Act funds that we do for the receiving facility, our receiving facility that provides inpatient services. The match is required for those level of care, and that's where the $55,000 goes.
Okay. And so on your programs where it says, one of the things it says you provide is homeless recovery services. Obviously, if you've heard, we're having that discussion in Putnam. So what is it you can do to help us with that situation?
Well, I'd love to take that back to the team. We do have a specific homeless recovery outreach team, but we have some other services that are care coordination and case management focused, where we work with local housing resources to connect individuals. There's some subsidies available, so our care coordinators would work to connect individuals with those subsidies through other organizations to find permanent housing or temporary housing.
But you're not currently doing that in Putnam?
We're not currently doing that here. We have care coordination available, though, so we can certainly partner. If there is like a homeless coalition, we'd love to be a part of those discussions. So if there's any information you could provide or connect us to, I would really love that.
Well, it's definitely a need in Putnam, and so yes, we would love for you to do that. We are seeing some homeless population down in downtown area and West Putnam, and I would love for you guys to be part of that conversation.
That would be fantastic. If there's anyone I could get a contact information for.
Yes, we'll get that to you. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do want to thank you for being here today and the work that you do. Just kind of on page 40, just me doing the rough math in my head, over 800 people, it looks like, were served in Putnam County. With your money and our money, our $55,000, $64 a person basically is what I figured it out to be. I'm sure it costs you a lot more. than $64 a person. So I appreciate you stepping into where the gaps are, and like our chair lady said today, there are other gaps that we're looking at, trying to plug the holes in. So if you could plug into that, but I support this wholeheartedly, and I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yes, Madam Chair, I make a motion that we support Meridian at $55,000 match.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you for your
Thank you
presentation.
so much. It's a privilege to continue to be a partner with you.
Thank you. It looks like now we have some people here for the Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you guys could come forward, and we're going to ask Commissioner Alexander to read that proclamation.
Madam Chair, before we go to that, that was already in our budget. We just kind of affirmed it.
Okay.
The last thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Good morning, ladies.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. How are you guys doing this morning?
Fine, and you?
In recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I would like to present the following proclamation. Whereas domestic violence is a crime that impacts all citizens of Putnam County, and whereas the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, taking a dramatic toll on the criminal justice system, law enforcement, the healthcare community, and society as a whole. And whereas each year in Putnam County, an estimated 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men are victims of domestic violence. That would translate to 13,000 individuals affected in our county. And whereas it is vital for our community to support the victims of domestic violence and assist with their grave financial, physical, and psychological losses, and to impose legal sanctions against perpetrators of personal violence. And whereas Lee Conley House is the only domestic violence center in Putnam County, providing 24-hour services and counseling to victims and their families, and has been awarded certification through Florida's Department of Children and Families. And whereas the Putnam County Board of Commissioners urges all citizens to actively participate and support all programs sponsored by the Lee Conley House, thereby assisting in the elimination of domestic violence in our community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of Putnam County Commissioners, Florida, that October 2024 is designated as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Putnam County, to participate in planned activities benefiting the Lee Conley House in its mission to provide shelter and support services to victims of domestic violence and their families.
I'd move for approval of the Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation, number 2025-081.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Congratulations, ladies. Would you like to speak?
So, my name is Keisha Davis. I am the program director for the Lee Conley House. I want to apologize. We do not have on our purple. We did not realize we were on the agenda this morning, so thank you. We do have representatives
got
with
you
purple
covered.
on. So we do apologize for not having on purple. So I did not have anything prepared, but I do want to say that we thank you, County Commissioners, for your continued support of our agency and its mission. You know, domestic violence isn't an isolated issue. It's not a one-person issue. It's not even just a family issue. It's a community issue. So we appreciate the support of our community partners, and helping us in our mission to end domestic violence, because it's definitely not tolerated in Putnam County. We would like to encourage everyone on October the 3rd, which is our Putnam Pledges Purple. It's the first Friday of every October that we stand together in solidarity with domestic violence survivors. So we encourage everyone to wear purple, post your pictures on social media with the hashtag Putnam Pledges Purple, to let everyone in our community, in the state, in the country know that Putnam County does not tolerate domestic violence. Thank you.
Very good, very good. If you guys can come up for a picture.
you, ladies.
All right, following our presentations, we have Ms. Lori Parker from HR Department.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Lori Parker, Human Resources. We're here to recognize Employee of the Quarter, and the Employee of the Quarter is Lee Duran.
Yay!
Good morning, Commissioners. If you don't know, the way we do Employee of the Month and Quarter is that peers nominate their peers through a form, which you get a copy of in your agendas, and then your executive directors come together and review all applications and vote. So not too long ago, we stood up here and said, Miss Lee's our Employee of the Month, and I'm gonna be honest, I've known her for so long and I work beside her, I didn't even read the form. But I read it this morning as I was sitting here, and the memo that echoed throughout that form that was written by one of her peers is that Lee truly leads and works with her heart, and she's someone who goes above and beyond all the time, but does it in a manner that really lifts and builds the team around her and the people that are around her. So this morning, it is my honor to present her with the Employee of the Quarter Award.
Well deserved. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much for this is an honor, and I really appreciate it. And mostly, I work with a great team that is Putnam County staff, and I'm really thankful to be a part of that team. So thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to get a picture?
Yeah, sure. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3, and begin.
All right, almost done with presentations. Miss, oh, there you are. I'm looking. I'm sorry.
Okay, I can only run the
Ms.
computer
Young.
from this.
Ms. Young has a
from this.
presentation regarding animal services dog adoption.
Well, good morning. Before I start my presentation, I'm just going to give you a little intro. So we, in an effort to get some more adoptions and some activity at Animal Services, Deputy Chief Hitchcock reached out and said, hey, Fire Rescue will come take some pictures. And so we said, hey, let's do a competition between the Sheriff's Office and Fire Rescue. And both were really great sports. And so this morning, I'm going to take you through a slideshow about that event. So they, Sheriff's Office and Fire Rescue came out and we did a photo shoot, and both agencies began using those photos that were taken over the next couple of weeks to post them online and to share with the community some of our adoptable dogs. All of the agency representatives, we sent out an email and we just had a number of people that said, hey, I'll come take a picture, including a video by your sheriff. And so it was just a great opportunity to showcase some of those animals that you're seeing there before you. We also allowed the public, if they would pick a team during the adoption, their adoption fee was waived. So when they went to adopt that animal, they had to choose either Fire Rescue or the Putnam County Sheriff's Office, and that's how we kept tally of the competition that you're about to see unfold. So we began with one of the showcase animals being actually reunited with his family. We received a post that said, he's actually my dog. His name is Creed. And the other day, he went and picked him up. She appreciated the photo shoot. Sally was adopted after being with us with 113 days. She came to us with a badly injured leg. Booger was adopted after a short stay, and that took us to 2 for the Sheriff's Office and 1 for Fire Rescue. Fern was adopted by the Farrell family after spending 71 days with us, getting some socialization and medical needs, and that put us at 2 to 2. Candy was adopted after a short stay and some medical care, and that again was a fire rescue point, putting us 2 to 3. Mercedes was adopted after a short stay with us. He was found on a busy highway, alone and scared. Chester was adopted after coming to the shelter as a tiny kitten that was abandoned. The whole litter was abandoned. Chester has now gone home with the Robinson family. Blue was adopted by the Huffman family. He also was abandoned and came to our shelter, and after a short stay and some medical needs, he was taken care of. Peter Bunny was adopted by these fellas and their dad. He came scared and in need of some care, and that put us at 2 to 7. Onyx was adopted by Miss Hessler. Onyx came from a criminal neglect case and spent quite a bit of time with us, but is now in a loving home. Bingo was adopted after 204 days in the shelter, and that brought Putnam County Sheriff's Office to 3 and Fire Rescue to 8. Ridge was adopted by Mr. Eaton. He came in after being abandoned and had some serious medical care that needed to be taken care of. Lexi came in and was adopted by Miss Foldy. That's another point for the deputies. Sinatra was adopted by Miss Mitchell after 101 days with us. Snitch was adopted by Mr. Gaskin. Ava was adopted by Miss Mosser. She was a kitten that showed up after being abandoned as well. Brownie was adopted after 210 days in our shelter. Jumay was adopted by Miss Hamilton. And we're now at 11, sorry. Leo was adopted by the Roberts family. And Mr. and Miss Green, who just got married, came back from their honeymoon and adopted Hoagie the kitten. They had previously adopted Sheba. So in all, we had 20 animals that were either reunited or adopted, with a final score of Putnam County Sheriff's Office 9 and the Fire Rescue of 11. But more importantly, we had several big winners out of the event. Ridge, who after spending 89 days with us is now in a loving home. Sinatra spent 101 days being adopted now. Sally spent 113. Bingo was here for 204 days, and Brownie 210 days, and now through this partnership, they are all in homes. So what I want to absolutely do is thank the Sheriff's Office and Fire Rescue. They're both here with us. Miss Allison and Miss Tina, who couldn't be here, but Allison, Chief, Gator, David, you guys want to come up? They were great sports. They helped us build the activity. They helped us share the word. It was just truly a great event over the several weeks that got us some great results as well. So I just want to say thank you to the Sheriff's Office and to Fire Rescue for all the work that they did.
I want to say personally thank you. We had talked about up here at the dais about emptying out the shelter, and one thing that we know in government is government likes to work inside its box. And this is a time when we didn't work inside the box. We thought a little bit outside the box, and we said, hey, what else can we do? And this was a great opportunity, and I'm surprised the sheriff didn't win because I watched his video, and I know how popular he is, and I thought, oh, the Fire Rescue's got their work cut out for him. But either way, it was a great event, and we really, really appreciate you guys working together and getting the word out about our animals that needed adopted. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, moving out of that, we're going to go into presentations. This is the Planning and Development Public Hearing portion. We have items A through E today on the agenda. If you have not done so and you want to speak on one of these items, please fill out a speaker's card. They're back in the back, and each item will have an opportunity for public comment.
All right, then. We shall begin with REZ 25-00009, Item A. For the record, Michael Graves, Planning and Development Services. Jolene West is requesting a zoning map amendment from commercial retail to C2 to commercial intensive C4 on a 0.82 acre parcel located at 143 Phillips Dairy Road in Palatka to allow the development of a heavy equipment repair facility. Surrounding zonings include light industrial and retail commercial. The subject site has a future land use designation of commercial. The parcel has approximately 120 feet of access from Phillips Dairy Road, and according to the NWI wetlands layer and the FEMA flood zone layer on the GIS reference map, the lands do not appear to contain wetlands and is located in FEMA flood zone X, not a special flood hazard area. Should the applicant's request be approved, the applicant will then be subject to review by the Development Review Committee, DRC, before obtaining any permits for development on the property compatible with the C4 zoning district. Here you can see an aerial of the property. It's the one in the center. Forgive us for not having it highlighted. The new program we were using at the time did not allow for us to highlight the property. Here you can see the future land use of commercial on the south side of Phillips Dairy Farm Road and urban service on the north. Here you can see probably the easiest which property it is, as it is the commercial property directly adjacent to the industrial on the west. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the zoning map from commercial retail C2 to commercial intensive C4. Staff finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the adopted comprehensive plan and meets the locational requirements of the commercial intensive C4 zoning district provided in the Land Development Code and Comprehensive Plan. At their August 13th, 2025 meeting, the Putnam County Planning Commission recommended unanimous approval of the same. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for the presenter from the board?
I have none.
Do we have any speaker cards on this item? Is there anyone in the public who wishes to speak regarding this rezone? All right, hearing none, it comes back to the board. One other thing I would like to ask before we take a vote, has there been any ex parte communication from any board members? All right, go ahead.
I'd move for approval of the rezone request, REZ 250000009.
All right, have a motion on the floor.
I'll second that one.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, once again for the record, Michael Graves, Planning and Development Services. We will now talk about PUD 25-000002, item B on the application, on the docket. The applicants are, the application is to rezone from residential 2, R2 to a planned unit development, PUD. The applicants are William W. Jones and William W. Jones Jr. The parcel is approximately 1.83 acres, located at the intersection of South Highway 17 and Hoot Owl Road. An address has not yet been assigned to the property. The applicant is requesting a zoning map amendment for the purpose of establishing a neighborhood scale commercial zoning in the rural residential future land use category, which in accordance with the Land Development Code can only be done with a planned unit development. Let's see. The parcel, as mentioned before, is currently designated residential 2 with a on the adopted future land use map with a future land use of rural residential. The subject land has approximately 200 feet of paved road frontage on Hoot Owl Road, and according to the GIS reference map, there are conflicting amounts of wetlands ranging from none to complete coverage depending on the map utilized. Even during the process of review, the amount of wetlands appeared to change on the GIS map to the point where the applicants have offered in their development agreement to file a wetlands delineation before any development is to take occurrence here. The FEMA flood zone layer indicates that the property is in FEMA flood zone X, which is not a special flood hazard area. And as mentioned before, the idea is to establish commercial development compatible with a neighborhood environment, as well as potential communication tower. Should this PUD approve, the applicant will then resubmit to Development Review Committee, DRC, to satisfy additional development requirements, including building and zoning regulations. The DRC will review plans to ensure developments are in compliance with all local, state, and federal development regulations. After DRC, the applicant may then apply for permits to develop the property in accordance with their development agreement and regulations placed by the DRC. Here you can see the aerial. It's the one in the center again. Sorry about the program. The future land use, you can see it's rural residential. Here you can see the zoning. As mentioned, it is the residential 2 right at the intersection there. The FEMA flood zone. And this was the most generous and up-to-date wetlands map we saw, which indicates that there aren't any at this time. Staff recommends approval of the request of the rezone to amend the zoning map from residential 2 to plan unit development with the development agreement. As the request is consistent with the requirements for PUD zoning, consistent with the future land use designation, and consistent with the comprehensive plan's goals, objectives, and policies. At the August 13th, 2025 meeting, the Putnam County Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the same. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for the presenter? Commissioner Palacio, you're recognized.
This is going to be on the corner of 17 and Hoodow Road, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that going to have any effect on the expansion of Highway 17 as it moves south with the 4-laning process?
Not to our knowledge at this time. Of course, that is an FDOT question that we were not able to get comment from them about. That being said, based off of the location of the expansion on the north side of 17, we do not believe it is going to affect this property as it is on the south side of 17.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions for the presenter? All right, is there anyone in the audience? Do we have any speaker cards? Is there anyone in the audience who wants to speak for or against this item? All right, Mr. Kennedy, you're recognized.
Patrick Kennedy, 126 Fugel Ave, Pomona Park. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. I just wanted to further respond to your question, Commissioner Pelletier. We got a copy of the current plans for the DOT expansion, and they've acquired the land to the, it's kind of awkward there, it's really, I guess, to the west of the property, the way the road goes, but basically they have a stormwater pond already designed, preliminary design right next to this property, and the expansion and the sidewalk are all already drawn out, and it doesn't interfere with this property or the plans indicated in our application.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions, that's all I wanted to clarify.
Thank you.
All right, is there any ex parte communication from any commissioners?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none. All right, back to the board.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the rezone of the PUD 25-00002, William W. Jones II, ordinance number 2025-026.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. I am going to take a point of privilege real quick and move future land use map amendment CPA 25-5 up item E. We will hear item E next. Then we'll take a short break.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Ethan Thompson, Planning and Development Services, here to present CPA 25-000-005 for Ernestine Green. The application is for a small-scale future land use map amendment from commercial to urban service on a 0.4-acre parcel that's located at 149 State Road 207. This is to allow for the redevelopment of a single-family residence. The subject site is currently zoned R2 with a future land use of commercial with approximately 24 feet of frontage on State Road 207. Currently developed with a dilapidated single-family residence that was greatly damaged by Hurricane Ian. They are proposing to replace the existing residence with the assistance of the Rebuild Florida project. Should this map amendment be approved, they will be eligible to obtain all required permits to redevelop the property with a single-family residence that is consistent with both the Florida Building Code and the R2 zoning district. Should it be denied, the property will still need a rezone into a zoning district that has conforming uses in the commercial future land use map category, as the R2 district is not conforming to that. We've got the aerial map. Mine is highlighted because I was on an old project or old map at the time. We've got the future land use, current zoning, the flood zone, some in X, some in A, mostly in A. And this map and the current program we're on now do not indicate wetlands, but there might be some intersection there on the southwest corner, but it was also not delineated on the survey, so unlikely to contain wetlands. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the future land use map from commercial to urban service, as the proposed amendment is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Putnam County Comprehensive Plan and is compatible with the existing development in the area. I did not update this presentation, but the Planning Commission on August 13th recommended unanimous approval of the same.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Help me understand, there was a home on this property?
Yes, sir. This whole street is currently developed with single-family residences. They were in place prior to the future land map that the state passed down in the 80s or 90s. And so they already had, I think we developed our zoning districts in the 70s, so that's why they were given that residential zoning district. And then the state came through in the 80s and 90s and gave us kind of liberty to do what we would with the future land use. And at the time, they thought maybe 207 would become a commercial corridor, but there were obviously residences on the property at the time. So that is why we are looking at
So there was a home there to begin with.
Yes, sir.
It got damaged in a hurricane. They're trying to put it back, and now it doesn't meet zoning?
Yes, sir. And it's because we have that conflicting, the R2, but the commercial future land use does not allow for development of single-family residences currently.
Even if they're damaged by?
Even if, because it is, you can replace up to 50% of damage in these non-conforming uses, but they need to replace the entire home.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, are there any other questions for the presenter? Do we have any speaker cards? Yes, ma'am, you're welcome to come on up. Please state your name and address for the record whenever you get up here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ernestine Green. I'm 149 State Road 207. I've been there all my life, 76 years.
Currently there.
And I'm still there now.
The home is still there. She's still living in a mobile home that's been damaged.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are there any questions for Ms. Green?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Has any commissioner had ex parte communication?
I have none.
All right, I have none. All right, back to the board.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the future land use map amendment CPA 25-00005, Ernestine Green, ordinance 2025-030.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're going to take a few-minute recess. you do it. You hit it more than once. All right. Thank you. Please have your seats.
Actually seeing the track, I guess. Maybe.
Zachary Baker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I get involved with the presentations I'm going over, I just want to take a moment to let the Commission know there are two 11 by 17s that have been handed out to you. One is from staff. It's just a large copy of the conceptual plan that was provided in the agenda for today's meeting. The second one is a detailed conceptual plan that is provided by the applicant's agent. Both of these plans are pertaining to the case for the planned unit development, PUD, which we'll be hearing second, but at least now you have them in your eyes. You can visualize a little bit as we're discussing.
All right. And what I'd like for you to do is present the future land use. We'll take questions and comments, move into the PUD, and then we'll vote together on those. We'll vote separate but together at the end. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am, as
Okay.
you wish.
All right, thank you. Because I think when I watched the planning meeting, it looked like a lot of people left between the two, and I don't want that to happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, moving in, this is case
No, I will vote, but we present together, and then we would vote on to move it forward or not for each item individually.
Just making sure the public knows we have two separate votes.
Yes, we have two separate votes. That's correct. Thank you.
All right, moving in for case CPA 25-000003. This is a large-scale map amendment for the future land use map in Putnam County. The applicants are requesting a map amendment from agriculture to urban reserve. The applicant is WA207 LLC. Mossler Industries was a co-applicant on the applications, but has since transferred all of their ownership in those properties completely to WA207 LLC. The agent is Mr. Kennedy of the Douglas Law Firm. There's 12 parcels total. I'm not going to belabor all of you by reading each digit independently.
Please.
The applicant is requesting a future land use map amendment to allow the development of a motorplex with uses associated with driver training, enthusiast storage and driving, commercial and industrial, as well as ancillary residential uses. Those uses proposed by the applicant are consistent with the future land use map category being proposed by this application. The property has approximately 1.5 miles of frontage along County Road 309C and over 1/2 mile of frontage on State Road 100, which is Reed Street. It is currently being used for silviculture. Some of the properties are registered as bona fide agricultural farms in Putnam County Property Appraiser website. There are no permanent improvements on the land subject to this application. Upon submittal of the companion applications, the PUD documents were routed to the DRC via email and comments were requested. Staff compiled those comments and returned them to the applicant and their agent. The applicant subsequently revised the PUD development agreement in an effort to address some of those comments, and we can discuss that a little more at the next presentation. The property is adjacent to the City of Palatka municipal boundary. Uses adjacent to the property include the K. Larkin Airport, St. Johns River Water Management District Personnel Facility, Putnam County Business Park, and as well as some residential and agricultural uses. The proposed development is also in the same vicinity as Georgia Pacific. Municipal water and sanitary sewer are within the immediate vicinity, provided by the City of Palatka. Should this map amendment and PUD be approved, the applicant will then submit to the Development Review Committee to satisfy additional development requirements. Due to the magnitude of the proposed development, a preliminary site plan review will be conducted for the issuance of a preliminary development order. Upon issuance of that development order, the applicant will then be required to submit a final development plan whereby more detailed specifications are provided to the county. The project will be subject to the submittal requirements of a phased development. The DRC will review plans to ensure the development is compliant with local, state, and federal development regulations. Agencies including but not limited to Florida Department of Transportation, Putnam County Public Works, Emergency Services, St. Johns River Water Management District, and so on, will review the plans to ensure the development will not adversely affect surrounding properties. Along with the other agencies notified of this project, the application will also be routed to the departments within the City of Palatka. Here we can see an aerial of the subject property and surrounding uses. Here we have the future land use map as well as surrounding designations, the current zoning and surrounding designations, a map depicting the special flood hazard areas. It's majority in flood zone X, but there are some pockets of special flood hazard A. Similarly with wetlands, the majority of the property is uplands, but there are some pockets of jurisdictional wetlands. Here's the conceptual plan. Again, the large handout that I passed out to you. Obviously, this is very hard to see on the screen. And I received this map from the city of Palatka for the existing utilities. We can see they are just east of the northern property and then just south of the southern property. And thank you for the Putnam County GIS department for providing us this map showing what the future land use could look like if all goes well. Staff is recommending approval of the request to amend the future land use map from agriculture to urban reserve as the proposed amendment is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan and is compatible with existing development in the area. At the August 13th, 2025 Planning Commission public hearing, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the applicant's request. Not included in the presentation today is the fact that because this is a large-scale map amendment, it does have to be submitted to the state. There are a number of agencies that will review and comment on this. That state review is 30 days from the time that we transmit it. Once we receive back any of those comments, we are to either address those comments, approve without addressing, or deny the application. Do I have any questions for the map amendment, future land use map amendment?
Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Zach, did I hear in your presentation that this project is going to be served by utilities from the city of Palatka?
That is not for sure as of yet. The city of Palatka has utilities in the vicinity. It, of course, is the applicant's discretion as to whether or not they want to connect to the city utilities. If they're required by law, they may have to. However, it does not preclude them from installing a package plant on-site water, wastewater treatment facilities permitted through the Florida Department of Environmental Protection.
All right, and your second question, your recommendation is for us to send this off for the 30 days for the future land use map to be transmitted, but we can't do that until the second reading of this. Is that correct?
No, sir. My recommendation today is for the commission to vote whether or not to transmit to the state. So if the commission finds that the application is insufficient or inadequate, we can address those deficiencies. But as of right now, the only thing the board can do today is decide yes or no, ready for state transmittal. After state transmittal process is complete, it'll come back to staff, and then we will have to work with the applicant on scheduling it for the adoption hearing.
So we're not going to normally we set a second meeting to hear this, so we're not going to do that today is what I'm hearing you say.
The commission does not get to set the second meeting for the future land use map. It is more or less dictated by the procedure outlined in Florida Statute 163.3184.
Okay, so we will be making a decision today to transmit this to the state of Florida.
That is correct.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
That's really just a clarification that I was looking for. So we're looking at the approval to submit today, and then they've got 30 days to respond back with recommendations for staff to communicate with the applicant. At such time, we make a decision as to whether or not to approve or deny based on the recommendations and the constellations from the applicant.
Yes, sir, that's more or less correct. If you'll recall the evaluation and appraisal report for our comprehensive plan we did about this time last year, we had to submit it to the state, wait for those comments. In that case, we didn't get any comments, so when it came back to the county, we just moved forward with what the proposed changes were. I'm hoping for a similar outcome on this application, whereby it goes out for state coordinated review. We don't receive any comments. It comes back, and we just set it up for an adoption hearing, and then the matter comes back to the BOCC for you to decide whether or not you want to change the future land use map.
So we'll see it one more time?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, if you'll go back to the proposed future land use map, yes. So we have an old platted subdivision on this property?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. There's actually a combination of 3 platted subdivisions here.
Okay. And what would they be allowed to, what's the density for that?
To be quite frank, I didn't calculate the density for that subdivision. I know some of the residential lots, individual lots within those lands are 0.06 acres. So maybe 2,000 square feet. By today's standard, the properties are considered undevelopable. There is no physical access providing any sort of means of ingress or egress to any of those properties without having to traverse over some form of private property. However, if the property owners decided that they wanted to develop the roads and build through the platted rights of way, they would be able to do so at their own cost. There is some language in the development agreement for the PUD that kind of references and more or less addresses these out parcels under separate ownership.
Well, that answered my other question. So I was going to ask, are there any out parcels?
I believe when we were processing the application, it's like 10 or 12 total, comprised of approximately 14 to 16 lots. Some of the lots that are under a common ownership within have been combined.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions for Mr. Baker? All right. Do we have any speaker cards? Now, I just want to remind everybody, we have this portion, and then the other portion will be the planned unit development. Item D. Mr. Wayne McLean, you marked item C.
Yeah, Wayne McLean, 285 West River Road, Palatka, Florida. I just wanted to come up here and speak in favor of this project. I've known the Legacy family for over 15 years. These are quality people. What this project will do for Putnam County is just set us up for some very good economic growth. So I'd ask the commissioners to look at this long and hard, but to approve it and move this along. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Petrucci.
No one really can expect you to reject this project, but I think you should take steps and make sure it's part of the approval process to.
Mr. Petrucci, I'm sorry, I need you to say your name and address for the records.
It's Joseph Petrucci, Mike, 905 Tierra Woods Drive, Palatka.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
That's no problem.
But I think you should consider the noise factor. I know that the staff has expressed concerns about taking measures to handle the noise level, but they compared it to the noise level of the airport, and it's mostly small aircraft at the airport, which is usually about 65 decibels. It's about the noise range for a typical airplane like that, whereas the sounds at a racetrack are typically exceeding 130 to 140 decibels. So, and the spectators at a racetrack can see 96 decibels. The National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health says the safe noise level is 70 decibels. And 85 decibels can cause damage after 8 hours of exposure. general guidelines for neighborhoods is 60 to 70. I think that when this design goes to the DRC, that there should be a demonstrated plan to reduce the noise level outside of the property to at least 70 decibels for the properties and the homeowners that are near this area. The most important thing is to follow up, have a process in place to make sure that they're actually in compliance with it. Whatever plan they come up with, they typically, around racetracks and places where there are race cars, I've seen there was talk about leaving some trees and vegetation in that area, but typically around racetracks, they usually put acoustic fencing and earth berms around them. So I think that as you look at this and you go to approve it, I think there should be some language in there that says that there needs to be a demonstrated plan that you guys have to approve that shows that they're going to achieve 70 decibels outside of the property, and that after the facility is built, there should be some follow-up to see if it is actually achieving 70 decibels. If not, then they have to mitigate how to resolve that.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Rachucci.
Thank you.
Nora Thompson. Again, this is on the future land use map. We will be presenting the plan union development next. Ms. Thompson. All right, we'll come back to her. She's not here. I don't see her. All right. Anybody else who wants to speak on the future land use map? Again, we'll have a PUD presentation. All right, before we go into the PUD presentation, has any commissioners had ex parte communication?
I've had none.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I have. With the applicant?
Yes, have you had communication with the applicant?
I absolutely have, and toured the property.
All right, toward the property, all right,
I have too with the applicant, I'm sorry.
okay,
As well as I, and I've met with constituents regarding it as well.
okay,
Yes, I have as well.
all right. I have as well, and it won't affect my vote. All right, going into, do we need to, we're going to wait and vote on this, so can we go ahead and go into the next presentation? All right, going into the zoning map amendment for the PUD.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is case PUD 25-000003. This is a zoning map amendment from agriculture to planned unit development. Again, the applicant is WA207 LLC. Agent is Mr. Kennedy with the Douglas Law Firm. Same 12 parcels as the future land use map amendment application. Similarly, the applicant is requesting a zoning map amendment for the proposed establishment of a motorplex with uses associated with driver training, enthusiast storage and driving, commercial and industrial, as well as ancillary residential. A list of all proposed uses is provided in the staff report and in this presentation. Similar to what we heard for the background, it's got 1.5 miles of frontage on 309, just over half a mile on State Road 100 Reed Street. It's currently used for silviculture practices. There's no permanent improvements on the lands for this application. The PUD is a companion application to case CPA 25-000003. Let's see, property is still adjacent to the City of Palatka municipal boundary. Uses adjacent to the property include the airport, water management district personnel office, Putnam County Business Park, as well as agriculture and residential uses. It's in the same vicinity as the Georgia Pacific plant. Municipal water and sanitary sewer are in the immediate area provided by the City of Palatka. Similarly as well, if these applications are approved, it's going to go through the Development Review Committee. It'll be reviewed as a phased development, and there will be a preliminary development order that has to be issued before a final development set of plans can be reviewed. Ultimately, we're looking for approval on those reviews before the development can move forward into what we would call technical review, which is where we actually start seeing dirt and construction being moved. All right, so the proposed uses, it's a pretty good list, but it would include a motorsports complex, which is defined in the development agreement, lodging, hotels, motels, retail sales, general retail sales, food, retail sales, beverages, including but not limited to the sale of alcoholic beverages for on or off-site consumption, services, office space, educational facilities. I want to emphasize here that is driver training, industrial arts, and related education. This would not include primary and secondary schools. Certain types of clubs, commercial recreation and entertainment, both outdoor and indoor, recreation, both activity and resource-based, cultural, light industrial, which shall include but not be limited to industrial, light manufacturing, fabricating, processing, warehousing, distribution, packaging, or assembly, except for those areas designated as a special flood hazard area on the FEMA maps. General agriculture, residential single-family, residential multifamily, garage plexes, which I'll take a moment, is a shared space where, think of it as an enthusiast wants to work on his car, and then he also wants to sleep next to his car. They would be constructed in a manner which is compliant with Florida Building Code, but it would allow for that mixture of spaces. It's more eloquently defined in the development agreement. Airplane hangars, event and meeting facilities, and temporary outdoor recreation and entertainment. So here we've got those relevant definitions. A motorsports complex is a road racing track or circuit, or a collection of such facilities of various types and related facilities designed to provide the opportunity for one or more of the following: to race for auto clubs, amateurs, and professional drivers, to test land-based motor vehicles, to hold driving school, including driver training of first responders, to compete or practice in road racing, dirt track circuits, competitive and recreational go-kart circuits, monster truck rallies, mud boggings, motocross, or drag racing events. This definition is pretty similar to the definition we have in the Putnam County Land Development Code, section 45-193. Moving on, garageplex. This is a verbatim taken out of the development agreement. A unique residential living space with a garage that combines function and style as a hybrid of a garage and an apartment or loft and can be used as a work living space. So some of the justification components that staff looked at for this PUD application, the PUD is required by LDC section 45-193, which discusses motorsports facilities. Pursuant to LDC section 45221B, the proposed PUD includes mixed-use development, providing for an integration of housing types and non-residential uses. It provides flexibility to meet changing needs and consumer preferences. It utilizes existing vegetation for buffering requirements. It constitutes infill among nearby developments and is governed as a large-scale, complex development with unique design features which would impede the development if regulated through traditional zoning designations. This application adheres to 3 criteria defined in LDC section 45-223A. The proposed PUD adheres to 5 of the 8 objectives defined in LDC section 45-223B. The applicant will demonstrate compliance with the other 3 if the proposed is adopted during the DRC reviews. And similarly, here we have an aerial of the property, the existing future land use, the existing zoning designation, FEMA flood zone maps, jurisdictional wetland areas, a copy of the conceptual plan, and a map showing the existing utilities. Staff is recommending approval of the request to amend the zoning map from agriculture to planned unit development with the development agreement provided in attachment 2.6 of today's agenda, as the request is consistent with the requirements for the PUD zoning district, consistent with the future land use designation, and consistent with other comprehensive plan goals, objectives, and policies. At the August 13th, 2025 Planning Commission public hearing, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the applicant's request. And I do really quick want to take a moment That development agreement provided in attachment 2.6 was provided by the applicants after the Planning Commission meeting as a way to try and address some of those concerns raised about noise. So be that as it may, I can take any questions at this time.
All right, Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Zach, just to be clear, this is the first of 2 meetings, correct?
Yes, sir. So, short answer, yes. Long answer is it could be the first of 3 meetings, depending on how the applicants proceed today.
More than 1 meeting.
More than 1 meeting.
Okay. So today we're going to, you want us to recommend approval of the requested amendment, right? Or do we just set a future date on the PUD?
So as it stands right now, there wouldn't really be an action today. More or less just take public comment, take everything into consideration, and just, you would either vote to deny the application no matter what, or you would vote when to hear the item next. What's interesting about this application is typically when we see a future land use companion application, it's not a large scale. So the commission will vote when to hear the zoning map amendment, and then that's going to drive when we bring the large scale map amendment back. But in this case, Florida statute, give me 1 second, got my papers all crossed around. That statute that I referenced earlier, 1633184, has subsection 12, which, reading into the record, concurrent zoning. At the request of an applicant, a local government shall consider an application for zoning changes that would be required to properly enact any proposed plan amendment transmitted pursuant to this section. Zoning changes approved by the local government are contingent upon the comprehensive plan or plan amendment transmitted becoming effective. So, in theory, today is September 23rd. If we transmitted today, we'd get back October 23rd. Then we'd have to schedule, give 7 days for notice. Sometime, maybe November. There's some holidays in there. Not exactly sure when the future land use map will come back. Well, because Florida Statute 125.665B requires the commission to either hear the item for the zoning map at a 5:05 or majority vote determine the next best time for the zoning to be considered. We're kind of at this like, I don't know what we're going to do. If the applicant were to request a decision before the future land use, then the commission could vote when to hear that. It would be before the future land use map adoption, and then it would just be contingent. They could start working on DRC if they chose to do so. Equitable estoppel would not come into effect. It would be really, truly at their risk. So it's really up to the commission, and if you have questions about that, I can answer them. I'll probably pull Rich to help.
So what I'm hearing you say, it'd probably be advantageous for us to wait on the review from the state, if there is one, to set a future date on.
Well, so in theory, the review from the state should have no bearing on what the zoning map amendment is. Unless the state comes back and says, absolutely not, you cannot adopt this future land use designation, which I don't foresee because of the citing criteria being met. You could wait, but you may want to wait to hear from the applicant on what they may like.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions for the presenter? All right, does the applicant wish to speak?
I want to, this is Patrick Kennedy, 126 Beagle Avenue, Pomona Park. I just want to address the technical issue first. That was, Zach was just speaking to. We would like to exercise the option he outlined in statute and move forward with the second reading of the rezoning in advance of the final adoption hearing on the comp plan amendment. We are confident the comprehensive plan amendment will get adopted, but we also think the comprehensive plan amendment also stands alone, regardless of the rezoning. Urban reserve is an appropriate future land use designation, given the proximity to the airport, the surrounding industrial zoning, and the proximity to the highway. So we do believe it can stand alone if it had to, in that regard. But we just want to make it official that we would request that we have the second reading of the rezoning in advance of waiting for the state to get back to us and resolve any comments that might come forward. So I just wanted to put that on the record. We don't necessarily have to discuss it right now unless you want to get to that.
All right, Commissioner Harvey?
Question, Mr. Kennedy. So what you're asking for is on item D, basically, or PUD. You want to go ahead with that for a second reading and let us pick a date for that, regardless of the large-scale future land use. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, in advance of trying to wait for the state to get back to us, and if there's comments we have to respond to, just the time frames, we'd like to understand where we might stand on the more detailed aspect of this whole proposal.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, any other questions? All right.
Charlie Douglas, 117 North 2nd Street. Madam Chair, Commissioners, and members of the community. This morning, we stand at a pivotal moment for Putnam County, a chance to embrace a project that will not only bring jobs and investment, but will also shape the future of our community for generations to come. The motorsports complex before you is more than just a racetrack. It is a driver training facility, an economic engine, and a community investment all rolled into one. It is a project that has already earned the unanimous support of the Planning Commission, who voted 7-0 in favor after careful review. Now, this project comes before this commission to take its next step forward. This project will inject new capital into Putnam County, creating both construction jobs immediately and long-term operational jobs once the facility is open. The benefits will ripple outward. New visitors will come to our restaurants, stay in our hotels, shop in our stores, and discover that Putnam County is a destination. Every dollar invested in this complex will circulate through our local economy, multiplying its impact. And as the old adage goes, location matters. The chosen site here is ideal. It sits beside our airport in the heart of industrial and commercial zoning, exactly where growth of this kind belongs. We are not forcing development into the wrong areas. We are placing it where it can thrive in harmony with surrounding uses. The airport and the complex will complement each other, creating synergy that makes this area a hub for innovation, training, and professional activity. Most importantly, this project invests in our future, our young people. The motorsports complex will be a place where youth can learn defensive driving, discipline, and responsibility behind the wheel. It offers a safe environment for skills that save lives and build character. At the same time, it will inspire them to dream bigger, to see that Putnam County is capable of world-class projects. So at this time, let's jump into the project. It sits at the northwest corner of the airport at the intersection of 100 and 309C. From a bird's eye perspective, you can see 440 acres that will be transformed into a world-class event destination, and it packs a powerful economic punch. We are here at the BOCC first reading, and as Mr. Kennedy has already explained, we're asking for an expedited concurrent review with the comp plan. After today, it will go to the state. It will be transmitted there for their thorough and examination of all of the agencies who must review it, and we'll come back here for a second reading at the BOCC. And then phase one will begin. So from a global standpoint, in summary, this project encapsulates these different categories. First, a state-of-the-art driver and first responder training facility, a dynamic motorsports programming venue, and a positive community impact. So, the who behind this project. This project is the vision of the Legacy family and Team SLR. This is not just a fly-by-night motor enthusiast. This is a nationally recognized team of proven winners. And I'm happy to report today, just as recently as last weekend in Virginia, at the Virginia International Speedway, Team SLR won at a national event, and that caps a winning streak of 5 straight races in a row for Team SLR across the country. Here with us today is Mr. Scott Legacy Sr., if you will stand to be recognized. Mr. Scott Legacy Jr., seems to be recognized. Mr. Warren Mosler, who is not here, but Mr. Jacob Mosler is here, seems to be recognized. And the team of support from the professionals, starting with Cube 3, a world-class architect. Rimrock, who is the developer representative. Matthews Engineering, here with us today is Mr. Rob Matthews, if you'll stand. And our law firm for land use and zoning. Team SLR has a history of making a difference. They just don't pay attention to what's on the track. They pay attention to what's happening in our community. Mr. Legacy Sr. was raised here in Putnam County, in Palatka. And their family has a history of philanthropy. From Boy Scouts of America, not just here in Florida, but at the National Jamboree. Screen Your Machine campaign. Scott Legacy Jr. is a cancer survivor and spends a lot of time helping people identify whether they have cancer and be able to treat after a diagnosis. Stand Up to Cancer, the Tom Coughlin Fund, bicycle and pedestrian safety, and was the FDOT's statewide ambassador for the Alert Today campaign. Let's jump into some of the project details. What to expect: a driver training, first responder, and law enforcement safety facility. Recreation and entertainment. This is a place where families here in Putnam County and from all over can come to have fun. And at a recent Rotary event, Mr. Legacy was asked a question by someone in the audience: can adults participate on the karting facility? And the answer is yes, in case anybody was wondering. Even the adults can have fun on the karting track. Retail sales. Those with general merchandise, motorsports memorabilia, apparel, alongside food and beverage operations. And a nice event and meeting space that we don't have in Putnam County, where people can come from all over and enjoy conferences and places for large-scale meetings. And then finally, lodging, the site of a 4-star boutique hotel. Some of the facility components, I won't go through all the bullet points, but just to highlight a few: a clubhouse, a museum, retail, fuel and fluid sales, and office and meeting rooms, in addition to the garageplex that Mr. Baker explained earlier. And before you have received an updated conceptual map, and that will be incorporated by reference into the record, and that has the latest track design that incorporates all the safety elements as the experts have designed. Collaborations. The Legacy family has worked diligently to communicate their plans with the community and other stakeholders, and there will be operational hours, and only 8 times per year will the operational hours be exceeded, just for special events. And also, they plan to leverage existing partnerships with Northeast Florida law enforcement and first responders. One thing I want to address up front is what this project is not. This project is not NASCAR. This project is not the Daytona 500. This project is not a straight track with Gator Nationals. It is not Satsuma. I hear there is a technical term in the industry called zoomies. And with the open headers, that's not what will be at this track. This is not Barberville. The key considerations here, after speaking with the community, first and foremost is sound. So I'd like to pause for a moment to really study this slide. In all the communications with the community and other stakeholders, sound is something that we have spent a lot of time on with a lot of experts and working with staff to get it right. So with decibels, every foot that you move away from the sound generating source, the decibel level decreases. And there's a mathematical calculation on how much the decibel level decreases. So as an example, on the track, a race car produces around 125 decibels. 6,300 feet later, at the intersection of Moats Road and 309C, the decibel level will have been reduced by and down to 49 decibels. And that calculation is with no buffering at all. And this site will have quite a bit of buffering through the design of where the buildings are situated, the vegetation, and the design of the track itself. Let's take a look at the airport. 140 decibels is what a jet engine will generate at takeoff. 6,800 feet later, from the center line of the runway down to Moats Road and 309C, that decibel level has gone down to 63. There's also a gun range nearby, skeet and rifle. Rifles will produce somewhere around 170 decibels, and 9,400 feet later, that amount has dropped down to 90 decibels at that intersection. Let's take a quick look from an aircraft's point of view, departing the Palatka Airport on runway 27. So this is an airplane taking off and heading west. We see this traffic pattern a lot from our friends down at Embry-Riddle, who fly from Daytona over to our airport to check off their requirements for their cross-country flight training. And when they take off heading west on runway 27, they take a left-hand pattern. This is a standardized pattern from the FAA. And they go over Francis, right there at the intersection of 309C and Moats Road, St. John's Avenue. And when they are on that crosswind leg, that first turn to the left, so they've taken off that first turn to the left, heading now south, that airplane is 500 feet above Francis with no sound barriers, no attenuation. The throttle is full forward. That is the use, the aviation component and the impact that the airport produces that this project, the motorsports complex, does not. Let's take a look at the areas of compatibility. This is the right project at the right spot. Outlined in red, you can see the project site. And outlined in blue, you can see all of the other industrial and commercial uses that surround this project. Another important consideration when the Legacies were having community meetings and other conversations with stakeholders was traffic and safety. And in the forefront of all of our minds here in Putnam County is State Road 100. It has been a place of recent tragedy, and not just recently, but in decades past, and the potential impact that this project could have on 100. The impact that this project will have on 100 is minimal. The people who will be using and purchasing these Garageplex units will mostly fly in on their private jet aircraft, come over to the facility. If they do not come in directly to the Palatka Airport, they will fly in from Jacksonville International Airport and travel down 17 to 100, that very short unit. And then if not Jacksonville, potentially Gainesville. And again, for those who are concerned about Highway 20, 100 is the route that anybody flying into Gainesville would take to the airport. Most people, though, will come in to the Palatka Airport and increase fuel sales, so that will be a big benefit to the city of Palatka, and then after the city, Jacksonville. So the impact of 100 would be minimal. Let's talk a little bit more about the community and how this project serves our community. First, with workforce development. I'm not going to go into much detail on each of these bullet points because we do have speakers for our case in chief who will be coming up right behind me that will talk about these bullet points in more detail. Career technical education, philanthropic endeavors, state trail support, youth recreation, and hotel bookings and small business benefits, and what that can mean for TDC. And a very exciting component to this project is potential collaboration with the Florida Sheriff's Association Teen Driver Challenge. I'm not going to go into that in much detail because Sheriff Deloach is here to speak more on that topic. But in summary, this commission has always been one willing to take bold steps and welcoming major employers who brought opportunity to our people. This motorsports complex stands in that tradition, and it honors our past while looking forward to the future. And it ensures that Putnam County remains on the map for all the right reasons. Commissioners, this morning, you have an opportunity not just to approve a project, but to launch a vision, one that brings jobs, growth, safety, and pride to our county. The Planning Commission has spoken with one voice, and now this project is placed in your hands, and the time is now to carry that vision forward. On behalf of the Motorsports Complex team and the many families and young people who will benefit from it, I respectfully ask for your support. Let us seize this opportunity to build a brighter, stronger Putnam County together. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Douglas, it looked like you have a lineup of people. Do you have that list? Or are you just going to let people, you know how they're coming out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sheriff Deloach will be first.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. As Sheriff of Putnam County, I fully support the Legacy's proposed race training facility here. This project will provide a safe and controlled environment for driver training, including specialized high-performance instruction for our deputies that we currently have no means to replicate here locally. Having professional instructors and a purpose-built track here means our deputies can sharpen their pursuit and emergency driving skills without leaving the county, which directly has an impact enhancing our public safety. It also creates a unique public-private partnership opportunity. The Florida Sheriff's Teen Driver Challenge that you just heard Mr. Douglas speak about a few moments ago is a program that is proven to save young lives by teaching critical defensive driving techniques and skills that could be hosted right here at home with this facility and its construction. This would allow us to train more of our teens on a professional track, making our roads even safer for everyone involved. Beyond training, this facility will draw racers, teams, and enthusiasts from across the region, country, and perhaps even the world. They'll stay in our hotels, dine in our restaurants, and invest in our community, thus creating economic benefits well beyond the boundaries of this property. I've known Scott and his family for years. In my opinion, their integrity is above reproach, and their commitment to excellence is proven in their work. Approving this project is more than supporting a business. It's investing in public safety, youth driver education, economic growth, and the future of our county. I encourage you to unanimously approve the project, just as the Planning Commission did a few weeks ago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members.
Joe Pickens, 5001 St. John's Avenue. Typically, when I'm in this building, I just simply say I'm Bill's brother, but today I'm actually speaking in my official capacity as the president of St. John's River State College, and I want to make this board aware that I have made my board aware that I spoke at the Planning Commission meeting and that I would be speaking today on the opportunities that this project creates potentially for the college. But the Board of Trustees has not taken an official position on this issue. I also would be remiss if I did not mention in the realm of community involvement that Marlene Lagasse, who is here today, served with distinction on our board for many years, and frankly, I wish she were still on my board. One of the proposed uses that you saw in the presentation by staff was post-secondary educational facilities specifically, and not elementary or secondary facilities. That's where we potentially come in. Months ago, I was approached by the developers to consider conversations about a partnership with the college for automotive technology in general, but also the concept of a world-class motorsports technology program of the likes that the University of Northwestern Ohio has. And it would do a number of things for the college should it come to fruition. The first is it takes this facility, or facility like this, off our campus. The proposal that we would suggest would be to co-locate it on the project site as well. For those of you who attended either the groundbreaking or the ribbon cutting for the student housing project, and you were on campus, let me orient you to on the exact opposite end of our campus. That would be the northwestern corner. We are about to embark on a $28 million renovation of the technology building and establishment of a some $28,000 new STEM building. One of the projects that's proposed for that would certainly be automotive technology. The idea that we could move automotive technology out of that space simply creates opportunity for several other workforce programs to go in that new technology building. It also would create the opportunity to expose our students to a world-class, high-end motorsports operation, and it would free up the space that I mentioned. You heard about the clientele who would be accessing this motorsports complex. The idea of the relationships that this operation could help establish with the college as it relates to at least manufacturers and suppliers of equipment is one that would be difficult for the college to do on their own. As you know, I was born and raised here. Well, that's not true. I was born in DeLand. I was brought home 2 days later. But my family has been here for a long time, and I can tell you that during all of my public service career, let me make it clear that Georgia Pacific and Seminole Electric have been remarkably positive corporate citizens through all of my career. And I stress that as I say, but this represents, I think, the largest proposed investment in Putnam County that does not include a smokestack in my lifetime, and I would recommend that you consider it favorably. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President Pickens.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Bobby Payne, 103 Sherry Lane. It's great to see you on that side of the dais as opposed to the side I've seen you on for the last 8 years. Commissioners, I want to just thank you for the jobs you're doing in Putnam County. Like you, I want to speak on two particular issues today as a lifelong citizen of Putnam County and from my legislative career in Tallahassee. You know, as an elected official, our roles and your role is to maintain the safe, security, community, help those that can't help themselves, as we heard today from SMA and from Animal Shelter and from Meridian and so many others. And I'd say that you have a limited set of tools to be able to move the community forward economically. You know, I served so many years and recognized that even through appropriations that I put in, And with my colleagues, we managed over 6 years, 8 years, to move $1.4 billion infused into communities, Putnam County, Bradford, Union, Clay, St. John's, Marion. But how much did we actually move the needle economically? I would say, like you, I was very successful, and we developed infrastructure, roads, high schools, education, broadband improvements, even a fire station. But at the end of the day, the only real economic growth comes from private enterprise and private investment. You heard President Pickens talk about Seminole and GP as industrial facilities that have contributed to jobs and trickle effect of jobs in our community. Establishments like Beck Automotive, Breck Sloan's here today and his family, Charlie Douglas, who's taken a dilapidated building and turned it into a multiplex downtown on the 100 block. Those franchise restaurants that came along as a result of that, we've seen some big box stores, mom and pop restaurants, mom and pop facilities. Those are the true economic drivers in our community. The bad news is Putnam County, and many of you remember the 2014 report that came out from the Wall Street Journal, perhaps it was the New York Times, that said we were the lowest economic community county in the state. We took offense to that, and we've moved forward since then. But the Office of Economic and Demographic Research in Tallahassee, which I review often, still has Putnam County growing at 0.2%, even though we're seeing 1,000 people a day move to Florida. 0.2% in the community makes us the donut hole that's not moving forward. So today, you have an opportunity, as you've heard from others, to move the needle forward, to really make some great economic progress. And I believe that economic progress will certainly help Putnam County with the trickle effect, as you've heard from all the other great opportunities economically. So economically, you have a challenge today, and you have an opportunity to make a huge difference in the economic viability of our county. I have spoken to my former colleague, Senator Leak, and Representative Sapp, and they both support this project. I wanted to make sure that you understood that. And so I would humbly ask that each of you support this project as it goes forward, and I thank you for your time, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
It's never high enough. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Laura Pavlis on behalf of the Putnam County Chamber of Commerce. Our Board of Directors did vote unanimously in favor of supporting this project. Chamber address 1100 Reed Street, Palatka.
Thank you.
This is an absolutely transformative, and I critically use the words, once-in-a-lifetime project. This is a project that you will point at 10 years down the road with pride that you were a part of this, that you were a part of making this happen and allowing this to better the community. This project is going to generate tremendous tax revenue. It's going to generate tremendous sales tax revenue. It's going to have an incredible impact on our local business owners. These affluent garageplex condominium owners, they are going to pump money into this community when they come into town, money that our business owners are begging for. They're going to spend money in retailers, they're going to spend money in restaurants, they're going to spend money on entertainment. It's going to drive incredible sales tax revenues for our community. These people that are going to occupy these units with their incredible discretionary income are going to support our community in a new way. It's going to create job opportunities, high wage job opportunities for our residents. Jobs in hospitality, jobs in the automotive industry, jobs in manufacturing, jobs in public safety, and probably a ton more that we're not even thinking of yet. jobs that are desired, jobs with benefits, jobs that will raise the average household income in this community. It's going to draw other industrial companies into the area. It's going to provide property taxes almost as if you had 300 beachfront residents. They will contribute tremendously more to this community than they will ever ask for in terms of support. This project will alleviate a large chunk of the cost burden to our local residents. It will take a large cost share of the taxes from our residents having to pay them because of the amount of revenue that it will pump into the community. Additional phases talk about a go-kart track, the hotel, the museum, all things that are incredibly desired when we have conversations with our businesses and our local residents. We don't have a 4-star hotel. We fill up our 3-star hotel every time we have an event. It's the Hampton Inn, and it's the first one that fills up, and it's on to the next. It's desired by the type of people that are coming into our community for tourism. It's desired by the business community. It will be a destination. And of course, it'll generate tourism development tax, the one tax that the residents don't pay. That helps us to have critical marketing dollars to bring in more tourists into the community, people who will come in, spend their money, and leave, which I think is what we hear from a lot of the residents that they desire. This project and the positive results, it will just be pivotal. Yesterday, I was up at the First Coast Manufacturing Association meeting. There's 40 industrial companies in the room, and this was all that anybody was talking about. No offense to Johnny Morris, but I haven't heard his name since the spring. This is all anybody talks about. What is going on in Putnam County? How cool are you guys that you guys can bring in a project like this? It is incredible, the excitement and the enthusiasm in all of Northeast Florida and the visibility that this project is giving our community. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the heart of the family. You can only fake being a good person for so long, and then eventually people catch on. These gentlemen are doing this for all the right reasons. They are doing it because they love this community. They desperately want to support this community. They want this specific community to have this specific gift. They could put this project anywhere. I am sure there are a ton of communities that they are constantly having to fight off that would rather have this project in their community. But that family is desperately keeping this project here specifically for the benefit of Putnam County. So in closing, on behalf of the Chamber, we fully support this project, and we just encourage you all to continue to move the ball forward in supporting this project for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving into speaker cards, is Nora Thompson here?
Madam
Nora
Chair.
Thompson, yes.
I did just want to take a moment for the record. There are some public comments within the packets provided to the agenda. So if you have any questions on those, I can answer them as well.
Yeah, thank you. Those letters are already provided in the packet. Thank you for reminding me of that. Mr. Breck Sloan.
For the record, my name is Breck Sloan, 2000 Reed Street. I am here today both professionally and personally, representing Beck Automotive Group and affiliates. And while we do not sell cars, or we do sell cars, excuse me, I hope we are, by gosh. We do not sell the type of cars used in this project. So I have no personal agenda in that regard. Starting off originally, Carl Beck Automotive has had a very long relationship with the Legacy family. And we have even sponsored race cars for Scott Jr. In the past, ARCA, Truck Series, and the like. Everything that they do, both personally and professionally, has been exemplary. I am a businessman. I understand the economic benefits of projects like this, and while I would be glad to go into the specific details, but for the sake of time today, let me simply say that projects like this one presented are simply considered to be economic powerhouses. Job creation, educational opportunities, events, special activities. This is not a racetrack. This is a special use facility which will be used for many things, all of them helping to bring our community together with others. And I understand that projects like this can sometimes be controversial. I understand the position and the concerns. In my humble opinion, the brilliance of this project is its location. K. Larkin Airport has been in operation since 1938. So we should not have the same concerns or issues as other possible locations, the fear, as we know exactly what to expect. The noise level is exactly what it has been for a very long time. The location of the track and the benefits of a wall, berms, surrounding trees diminish the sound and will even to an even lower level. There just simply is no better location. We do not get to choose who decides to invest in Putnam County. I cannot imagine a better scenario for Putnam County, the Legacy family, longtime Putnam County family with deep roots who care about our community. They clearly know racing. They have performed at the highest levels, both nationally and internationally. They have long associations and many partnerships with the groups, the likes of General Motors, Hendricks Racing, Boy Scouts of America, NASCAR, and many others. So they clearly know how to do it with the very best. Couple that with the legendary Mosler racing family. These are visionary leaders in the automotive sports world. We have the right leadership and vision. We have the right place, and more importantly, we have it at the right time. And as I have shared with this board before, a quote from Mark Williams, "The only way to not be controversial is to be average and ordinary." And I think it's safe to say that Putnam County is anything but average and ordinary. This project is clearly anything but average and ordinary. And so that I hope that you will give this the green light that it deserves, and so that you can give a racing term to this project. Gentlemen, it's time to start your economic engines. God bless Putnam County. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Benji Bates.
Good morning. This is an exciting day in Putnam County. I think it's also a very proud day. Benji Bates, 3400 Crill Avenue, Palatka, Florida. In addition, I do own some property within a mile of this proposed project. When I first heard about this project at the Planning and Zoning, I was excited. Hearing Scotty come to Rotary, seeing the presentations today, my excitement has only grown and grown and grown. I've learned more in life that words matter. Words do in fact matter. Words used today and in the past. First of its kind. First class. Once in a lifetime. State of the art. World class. The best partners in the industry. And perhaps most importantly, this is a legacy project for this family. How do you argue with words in a vision like that? This is more than a project. This is a turning point. It's our chance to change the narrative in Putnam County, to turn pass by into leading the way. I urge you to support this project and move it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other speaker cards? I still have a speaker card for Nora Thompson. Has she entered the room? All right. Seeing that, is there anybody else in the audience who would like to come forward and speak on this project? Is there anyone giving you a chance? Anybody else wants to speak on this project? All right, thank you. Coming back to the board.
I'd like to kind of bring this to a close. I'd like to move this for approval to transmit the application for the expedited state review, amend the future land use plan map from ag to urban reserve, specifically the large-scale future land use map amendment, CPA 2500003.
I'll second it.
Absolutely.
All right, so I want to make sure we're doing this properly. Mr. Attorney?
This is for the transmittal, correct?
We are on item C. Does he need to read anything else into the record?
Just the title, I mean, that's all.
Okay, all right, and did he give a proper motion?
Yes.
All right, we have a proper motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of item C?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carries. Item D.
Madam Chair, on item D, the zoning map amendment PUD 25-00003, ordinance 2025-029, I move that to the October 14th at 9 o'clock in the morning.
You need a second on that?
Yes, please.
You got one.
All right, any further discussion?
Is that the quickest we can get it there?
Yes, that's the next meeting we have.
So there's advertising requirements for that, but I mean, just so everyone's clear, even if it's approved, it doesn't actually go into effect till the comp plan amendment comes back.
Correct.
Right, in the second reading.
And for further clarification, we're verifying that it's at 9 a.m. and not the 5:05.
Correct.
So we'll need a majority vote on that one.
That's my motion, yes.
And my second.
And that's the 24th, correct? Is that what
October 14th at 9 a.m.
14th, okay.
Any other further discussion or comments? Any concerns? All right, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I want to make sure on item C, that needs to go to a second reading. Did we?
Yes, ma'am. So the second reading doesn't need to be decided today. It's going to be dictated by the expedited review process. Once we get all the comments back from all state agencies, including the State Land Planning Agency, then we will advise the applicants and we will work with them to schedule it for the most appropriate meeting.
All right. Mr. Kennedy, did you have any concerns or comments?
No, that's just the clarification Zach made about the time, having it not being effective.
All right, I saw you stand up, so I wanted to make sure. With that, our planning and development public hearing is complete, and we will take a few-minute recess. right, going into Public Works, public hearing to vacate Tradewind Court. Someone presenting that? All righty. All right, we'll read our public comment on agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in deliberation or debate about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. Madam Clerk, do we have any comment cards? All right, we do not. We are on number 6. I was about to do that. Mr. Stout, please come forward and let's talk about the vacation of Tradewinds Court.
Good morning, Board. Tradewinds Court is off of McLean Boulevard, one of the roads on our dirt to pave in District 1. It is an undeveloped right-of-way that we're asking to get vacated because we're doing the paving in the road, and the resident is actually using that section as a driveway. So once that's vacated, then when it's paved, we can do an apron for that driveway like we're doing for all the other driveways. And there's no drainage or anything beyond that, so the county doesn't have an interest in it.
All right, does Commissioner from District 1 have any concerns?
None at all. I'd like to see it run forward.
All right, all right. And have you received any for or against items?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone in the audience for or against the vacation of Tradewinds Court? All right, coming back to the board.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-082 to vacate Tradewinds Court.
You have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, public hearing items. Are there any commissioners who wish to pull any consent agenda items? That is 6.
Yep.
I just did that. Where's the procurement code? I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's on page, it's on the next page. Procurement code revision, ordinance number 2025-025. That's just, what is that, Mr. Suggs?
That's the formal adoption of the ordinance. We did the revisions, and now we had to publicly advertise that we were going to change the ordinance. So that's just the ordinance adopting the changes that the board has directed.
All right.
We had a 10-day window that we had to advertise the ordinance,
All
and
right.
that's why it's coming back today.
Thank you for clarity. Is there anybody who wishes to speak on this ordinance for the procurement code revision? All right, seeing none, it comes back to the board.
Madam Chair, I move approval of procurement code revision ordinance 2025-025.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, consent agenda items. Commissioner Palacier, do you wish to pull anything?
I have nothing.
Commissioner Alexander?
Just for discussion, item H, I'm not as familiar with that as I'd like to be.
Okay, no problem. We'll pull item H.
Thank you.
Commissioner Newbold?
I have nothing to pull.
And I have nothing.
Madam Chair, I would like to pull item F.
I'm sorry, I skipped.
Okay. You're fine.
Item F. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move the consent agenda items A, B, C, D, E, G, and I for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Commissioner Harvey, you recognized for item F.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say this has been a long time coming. This is the Millennium resurfacing of County Road 315 from basically State Road 20 to 310 to 310 to Marion County line, including the intersection of 310. This is a project from the state of Florida, $5.5 million project that we've gotten. So the state is paying the bill on this resurfacing of this road, badly needs it. And I will tell you that, you know, when we go to Tallahassee, when we have friends and the legislator like you saw today, you know, these took a long time to get there. And this was probably done 6-7 years ago. and finally coming to fruition now. And I just want to thank our partners with the state of Florida, our legislators, past and current, and the FDOT for the hard work, and our staff to keep moving this item forward to where it is today. So, Madam Chair, I move approval of item F.
Is there a second?
There is a second. That is in District 5, and I was just so glad to see it on there and finally getting done.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized for item H.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item H, Public Works Septic to Sewer Phase 4 Agreement. Not contesting this. Basically, I just want to have a little informational session for those in cyber world, because I get a lot of questions about where are we at? What's the story of the grants? How does this work? And I was hoping that maybe Mr. Stout or Mr. Grimes might just give us a brief overview so that people could better understand it without having to go into a bunch of research.
I agree.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Alexander. And absolutely. So what we did is we applied for the septic to sewer phase 4 in that Paradise Point area, kind of maybe to the east of Horse Landing Road, an area that we bid out. We did it all at one time, right? We did the hookups, we did the main lines, we did everything turnkey, 100%. Well, when we got our bids back, it way exceeded the grant amount of dollars that we had underneath that current program. So what we did is we asked the issuing agency, which is DEP, can we move it and do just the main lines for now and then apply for an additional grant to do hookups, which they've almost guaranteed us that we'll get awarded the hookups. Okay. So this is just putting the main line infrastructure in that geographic area. Okay. And then we're going to come back through with another grant in order for us to apply for to get the actual citizens paid for, much like all the rest of them have worked, where we actually went in there on their properties. We got all the construction easements, put the small lift stations, septic pumps to be able to remove their septics. It also pays for the abandonment of their current septic to get them off of the water. So all that, but time you put all that into that original package, it just exceeded the budget dollars that we had.
Gotcha. So basically what staff has done and what you guys have done prior to me getting here is you've taken that burden off of the residents and taken that burden off of the environment through government dollars, and we're not funding that locally.
That is correct. This is a grant that it used to be applied through, it was a partnership with the St. John's Water Management District, but then it got shifted over to DEP. So now the water management's kind of out of it and it's in DEP's hands. So now that we work with them because, I think the bids came back at almost $8 million and we had $4 million in the budget for the particular project. Mm-hmm. And we worked with them and they're like, okay, we'll break this down into 2 phases and then apply for another phase. So that's kind of how we ended up where we are today.
And this is going to be an ongoing project as we try and transition more and more.
Well, yeah, we'll apply for another septic to sewer phase. We did it in the area right there around the Cheyenne Saloon, Rio Vista and Overlook Point. We applied to do the hookups in there.
Yes, sir.
And they told us that the project wasn't big enough at the time, right? So we can always revisit. So they really want to take the biggest bang for the buck in the area. So as we find and identify neighborhoods that are in and around the river that meet that, I think it's the Florida Springs Act or something that is being funded under, we'll start reaching out for some more of those neighborhoods. There's several more of them along the Dunn's Creek and River Basin.
And that, and that ties directly into what we're seeing with the rivers and the loss of the eelgrasses and the pollution. And this is trying to combat some of that. So I just want people to understand why it's being done and how we're trying to mitigate those effects.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
If I may, I'd also like to add that the citizens in that area would have to choose to participate. This is on a voluntary basis, and we would highly recommend that they participate because it is being funded by a grant and not their expense. Some citizens would say, I don't want the monthly charge of being on the sewer, and they don't want to do it, and I understand that they don't want to do it. But once these monies run out and their septic fails, DEP may not, I would expect them not to, give them a permit to repair their septic, and then they will have to pay to hook up to our system for thousands of dollars because those monies will be gone.
Many thousands of dollars. Yes, we've...
I just wanted that on the record that it's a good idea to participate when we come into your neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stout. If you'll just stay here, just in case there's more questions. Are you done?
Yes, ma'am, I'm done. I'd like to make a motion that.
Oh, I've got a couple questions,
Oh, okay, sorry.
Commissioner Palacio, you're recognized.
Thank you. Is this similar to the situation before? If they come online now, there's no charge?
Correct.
And if they, a year or two later, decide this is something they want to do because they've had a system failure, that then they would be charged to do it?
They would be charged to come onto
we
the
need to make that very clear. Now's the time.
Mhm.
Okay, want to be sure that gets
Yep.
out there. Thank you.
Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
And isn't there a state statute, thank you, Madam Chair, that if there's septic running, if these lines are running in front of your home, that you have to hook up anyway?
If there's a utility in front of your home, water or septic, you have 12 months to connect to it. We don't
I get it,
enforce,
but
it's there.
I know. But the idea is to help the environment,
Correct.
like Commissioner Alexander said, it helps everybody at that time.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know why you wouldn't, but I understand. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Grimes.
I do want to point out, to expand upon what Mr. Stout just said, and so everybody understands with the impact fees, right? An impact fee not necessarily gets put onto a home when you're building new construction in the utility district. Anytime you tie into that utility, you had to pay an impact fee, right? So even if it's an existing home, they would pay the impact into the water and wastewater. However, underneath the grant from DEP, I'm sorry, drew a blank, underneath the grant for the DEP does not allow for the impact. So this is a one-time that you get the option not to pay that fee, right? Because it's all grant dollars. So if somebody was to come in there with an existing home in that Dunn's Creek area into the system, or that Paradise Point area, maybe Dunn's Creek's a bad term, but in that area, this is the one time that they have the opportunity not to pay that. So if they do have a failure in the thing at their current home, they will pay the impact into the water and wastewater system.
And just to be clear, the impact fee replaced the connection fee, and they are very similar in cost. Is that correct?
That is correct. And actually, there's actually a net savings in the hookup for the impact fee for the wastewater. Before it was around $8,000 to hook into just the wastewater, and now it's down to about $5,500.
Well, I know that I was,
56.
when we used the term impact fee, I was stressing out about that a little bit. But then whenever you shared with me, well, they used to have to pay anyway. It was just called a connection fee. Now it's the impact fee. Commissioner Palacio, you're recognized.
Mr. Grimes, thank you very much for bringing that forward and to light, to, let that be known, because I know we're going to get a ton of phone calls, and we need to get that out, spread that word. I don't know how, but we need to be thinking about a way to let these people know this is your one time to save that impact fee. If you, think there's a chance that you're going to need these services, now's the time to hook up and save yourself.
Do we send a letter out or anything?
I would just like to point out, this is the one and only time they can do it inside of that impact zone, right, of that septic to sewer phase 4 connection, right, inside that geographic area. It's not a one-time for everybody in the East Putnam Regional. It is just the septic to sewer phase 4 block area, which we can absolutely get a map to publish, but it's not everybody inside that utility district. I just want to make sure everybody did understand that it is just where we're doing the septic to sewer phase 4 project, which goes in front of about 400 rooftops, just to kind of give you an idea of what's there.
And that's because of the grant.
Correct.
All right.
And I follow up, Madam Chair.
Yes.
In the event that we somewhere else in East Palatka had this similar situation, and where the lines were going to be run, this would that apply then or not? Or am I making that clear? Is that making sense?
No, I completely understand what you're saying. It all depends on the granting agency, right? So if the granting agency doesn't allow it, which this one is the one that says they won't pay the fee, then if we accept those dollars, we're accepting the fact that we have to waive the fees in that area. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
But if there were, I'm sorry.
we're going to apply for more septic to sewer to get it to the. I mean, that's our goal, right? Is to get some of these septics and nutrient reduction off of the river. So
Right.
we will apply for more neighborhoods, right? But when we do go into that neighborhood, if that clause is still in the grant agreement, then we will have to. You guys would be aware at that time that you're waiving. Not, I guess maybe waiving is a bad term. You're excusing the impact fees into that particular region where we're doing the septic connection fee. But if the county was to run a line just outside of a granting authority, the person on that line would have to pay the fee.
Thank you. You cleared that up very well.
Commissioner Alexander.
No, I just wanted to review some of those costs. And what's one of those grinder pumps cost if you pay for it yourself?
Grinder pumps are usually around $2,500.
Okay.
Not installed.
And then you have the connection fee or impact fee.
So you're looking at installed, ready to go on your own, at least $5,500.
Yep. Thank you.
So, I always have the concern of how things are equitable. So is this done on a first come, first served basis, or it's just you do that line and they either hook up or they don't?
That's right. So sorry, I had to turn my mic on. So we'll send out letters and notifications to the residents, every resident in the area.
Everyone.
And then they have the opportunity at that point to fill out, right? And then maybe they give us $4 million and that only does 200 homes. Then we'll have to apply for an additional phase, right? So it would be at some level of a first come, first serve agreement until we get it pushed through, okay? So I'm not saying, because I don't know what an individual hookup is going to cost when we move to that point, right? So when we bid it out, we're going to apply for enough dollars what we think is the right amount, but by the time you get a vendor in here, we don't know, times are going to change. So we may end up phasing this into a multiple grant cycle thing, and as long as we can continue to get the grant, we would continue to apply for it.
Well, I think what I would ask is if we've got 400 homes and you got, let's say truly you got 400 applicants, but we could only serve 250. I think I'd like for you to come back to the board and let us know that. I think that's the issue is, how is it we know that there's a gap if you don't tell us?
Sure. We'll let you know. I mean, we'll have an idea when we send it out. When we are receiving of the grant, we will send a letter out and then we'll put a deadline on it. It has to be back by a certain date, and then we'll let you know how many we were able to do versus how much funding we have. And then if we need to, you guys could direct us to go out and get more funding.
Right.
Or if you guys wanted to fund it, or however, we could absolutely work it. But we'll bring that back to you as a presentation.
Yeah, that's the conversation I think that we should have.
And I just want to point out, Ms. Young's, she informed me whenever we were sidebarred over here, that you guys are accepting the grant funds in lieu of the fees, right? So that, so you would still, it's still basically paying an impact, but you guys are accepting the funds in lieu of, right? So
Words matter.
they do. They do.
Gotcha. All right. Is there any other questions? All right, Commissioner Alexander?
Yes, ma'am. I want to thank staff. Thank you guys for the spirited discussion, but I thought that's something that we needed to address for our constituents and get some clarity on it. With that being said, I would like to make the motion that we move forward with the agreement to accept the amendment for WGO 76 Amendment Number 1, Public Works Septic to Sewer Phase 4.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, going into code enforcement, we have a couple of fine reduction cases. The gentleman was here for the first fine reduction, but he couldn't stay. I just wanted to mention it to the board, and so he had to leave because it
Madam
was.
Chair,
Yes.
before you go forward, did you bring item F? Do you
Yes,
have
sir.
an item, because Commissioner Harvey pulled item F to talk about it?
Yes, sir, and you commented on it.
I understand, but I don't remember if did we motion and second that one? I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
we
I just
voted.
didn't want to
Yes,
skip
sir.
it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you second.
I remember talking about it, but I'm sorry.
Yep, it's okay. We got a lot going on.
Go ahead.
All right, code enforcement. How are you? Good.
So, Madam Chair, I'm hearing that no one's here for the first fine reduction case. Is that correct?
Let me just ask the audience, is there anybody here for a fine reduction case? Is there anyone here for the any fine reduction cases? All right.
All right, Madam Chair, on codes case number 2009-00584, I recommend that the board take the action of accepting $1,246 less $9.83 on tax surplus, which would be total of $1,236.17 if paid within 90 days.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Madam Chair, on codes case number 23-004560, I recommend that we take staff recommendation. Let's see here, it's $9,362, which would be
Of tax surplus,
tax surplus.
which would pay the total fine reduction.
Yes.
And the remainder
Yeah.
of,
The remainder, $7,336, will be sent back to the clerk of the courts.
second.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And Madam Chair, on Codes Case number 24-000495, recommended action of, and let me get to that page, I'm sorry, I'm using my computer, $1,218 if paid within 90 days.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
You did a fantastic job.
You did a great job.
Good job, Z.
All right, is there any new business to come before the board? Any commissioners have any items they want new business? All right, public comment on miscellaneous items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. Thank you. Ms. Yvette Reyes.
Good afternoon, or good morning, whatever it is. It's been a long morning.
It has.
Yvette Reyes.
Can you pull that closer?
There you go.
There you go.
Yvette Reyes, P.O. Box 253, Bostwick. I just have to say, you guys are really the best commission team that I've seen in the 11 years that I've been back here.
Well,
So thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to show you guys. I want to meet your new baby. We don't have a name yet. Miss Wilkinson found her and called me. Some of you know I am the bottle baby volunteer for Animal Services. This is my 6th in 2 months. My concern is regarding the vouchers that we are giving at adoption. I think we need to kind of review that. I don't know what the follow-up process is, and I don't know if there are consequences to not getting these animals fixed. But I was approached and I was told that people are getting these vouchers, but they're not following through. And this is a result of homeless animals and the issues with animals that we're having in Putnam County. So, again, I don't know the process for the vouchers, but I don't think it's a good idea. That's
So
just my opinion.
So, you're saying that people get vouchers, but they don't go and get their animal spayed and neutered?
Right, and what I'm asking is for reconsideration and having any animal that's gonna be adopted, spayed or neutered on our side before they go out for adoption.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for taking
all I
care of the cat. It was found in a tire. I'm trying to think of a name like Goodyear or Cooper, but it's a girl.
It's a girl, so we
So
have
we're
to
trying
find
to
a
think of a
girly
name.
name, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. My,
Thanks, Yvette.
my poor guys at the shop each have a cat because they keep showing up at the office. So anyway, yes, Miss Julianne, if you'll help us with that. Oh, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Great job on the team thing.
On the-
I do have a foster fail that goes to Putnam County Sheriff's Office, and I didn't get to get the picture, sorry. But my little mittens is part of the.
Are you trying to tell us they had one more? They
Yeah.
still lost though.
It's 10 and 11, but it's close.
But you know what? Everybody
If
won.
I
Yeah.
keep this one, then it's 11. No,
Everybody
I'm not
won,
keeping this
so
one. This
it's
one's
a
going back
win-win.
to
I think
Mrs.
you're trying to
Wilkinson.
score points with the sheriff, but
Yeah.
that's
No.
okay.
No, I'm good. But I do love this Archplex because I'm a speed demon, but I have to follow the laws. But I can go there and there's no laws, so thank you.
Thank you. Miss, you're recognized.
Thank you. Ms. Reyes brings up a great point, and let me just bring a bit of a update to the board on that metric. So there has been a challenge in the past when a citizen leaves with a voucher as to truly scheduling with our local vet. The capacity and demand on their services is great. And so I don't know that it's necessarily the citizen not wanting to comply or simply convenience of having to schedule that process down the line many weeks out and then bring that animal in. So as of 2 weeks ago, we have onboarded a part-time veterinarian who is doing services in the shelter and at her shelter of our animals, and dedicating us a significant amount of time to get everybody up and running. As we kind of bring that to fruition and fully implement those services, we now both have the partner at UF who does our spays and neuters, and this vet doing animal services. So we will not be moving forward with the voucher program. We will have all the in-house medical needs taken care of before we hit the street for the adoption.
That is wonderful news. I'm so glad to hear that. That's always been a concern that we've had, that we're adopting out animals. And again, it might not be necessarily the owner not wanting to. It's just a matter of finding a vet that'll take the voucher and the whole process. Mr. Newbold, you're recognized.
And what kind of monetary savings is that for someone who adopts a pet? What does that save them out of pocket?
Well, I don't know what the going rate is. I can tell you I recently had a puppy of my own fixed at a local vet, and it was roughly $400. Now, he's a German Shepherd, so he was a large breed, but and traditionally the scale is done on weight, so a smaller animal may be a little bit less expensive. But it's several $100s locally to get that vet fixed, and that was a neuter. Obviously, spays are traditionally a little bit more expensive because the surgery is a little bit more invasive. So it is a significant savings, and then, of course, in an effort for us to make those animals very attractive, the Board of County Commissioners has supported our request to have a very nominal adoption fee of $15. So if you think about receiving the animal, they will be fully vaccinated, fully up to date on heartworm, flea and tick, and then they will be fixed, spayed or neutered before they come into your home. So all of those initial upfront pet costs are taken care of. And again, we do have programs that will even support with an initial bag of food, either cat or dog, based on your needs. So we truly try to make that entry into the home very minimal, so that ongoing support can be built through the family.
And I know the cats that have been adopted at my shop, at Eugene's shop, have been microchipped. Is that a standard that we're doing now?
Yes, that's also a standard. Every animal that goes out now is microchipped.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Newbold, were you done with your comments?
I am, thank you.
All right, and I did mention it at the last meeting, but I'll mention it again. The ARC Rescue and Crescent City did receive last year's, or this year's, I guess goes through this year, Florida Animal Friend Grant, and have reported that $15,000 took care and spayed and neutered 280 cats and 85 dogs. And of those, 40 of the cats were feral. And I know that Ms. Kelly and that Animal Welfare League and the ARC are trying also to add services for spay and neuter programs in the community. So I think we have several great things working in our favor. And Ms. Julian, thank you for the update, and thank you for certainly seeing that and making sure that we have a process. It's hard. I ask you questions all the time about how are we doing this, how are we doing that with the animal services, and the spay and neuter, there has been a gap for a while. So the fact that you've got UF on board, you've got a veterinarian that's going to be on board with our animal control services. We're not going to be giving out vouchers anymore. Kudos to you, because it's a lot of work to get all of that done, and your team.
Not just me. There's a whole team of animal services and administration working diligently on all of these initiatives.
And this board has been very supportive in trying to get you the staff you need. I know that we all can't wait till the new facility gets finished. And if you want to take this time, or one of you today, and you or JR, give an update on that. Commissioner Alexander, do you have a couple questions or comments?
Yeah, just briefly. When I came into office, one of the biggest points of contention was animal welfare services. And I was approached by multiple agencies throughout the county, and I really want to commend staff on what they've done. I mean, just as recently as last week, we partnered with a group and decided not to accept their services, but we did recognize a need, and they agreed to help us with notifying us of some grants that were available. And Ms. Holmes-Young, excuse me, I'm referring, applied a couple of those grants, and Can you elaborate a little bit on the food savings that you've recognized because of that?
Yeah, so we've already received award of one of those that will allow us to take part in a Good Pets program, which brings into a distribution warehouse all of the either out of date or maybe a ripped bag that Chewy or your other distributors deal with of dog foods. And we can then purchase dog food, cat food, and other supplies. Sometimes it's flea and tick medicine, sometimes it's heart medicine. It can be dog beds, that type of thing. We can purchase them by the pallet, and general average savings by which they have advertised for us is you buy for about 90 cents of what the cost would have been. So you get all of the savings. So you pay 10 cents then obviously on the dollar.
Yep.
So there's going to be a huge savings through that program. We're now eligible to participate in, and we have made formal application to some other grants that the avenues have been open to us from.
And that was with help from Diane and that Best Friends organization. And then Mr. Grimes made a road trip a couple weeks ago. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Mr. Grimes?
You refresh my memory.
When you transported the dogs or had the dogs transported to the facility in South Florida, in Ocala, you met up?
Oh, no, I did not make the trip myself, so thank you for clarifying, but we do
You orchestrated it.
So, I mean, and truly, there was I'll call it a small disconnect, but we, myself, and Miss Thea Belden and Miss Diane Kelly, we went to lunch and we talked, and I told them what our hangups were and how they could help, and I'll be the first one to tell you, they've done amazing things in the past few months, I mean, on their work, I mean, and the communication is where it really needed to happen. And I told them with getting rid of some animals, and she opened up an opportunity. She talked to a humane society in Tampa that were able to take in some animals. I think 31 down there so far. And truly what they do is, I mean, it's very, very convenient. We send one of our drivers. They meet them in Ocala. So they can actually come from Tampa to Ocala, pick the animals up and take them down. And that was truly through the work of that group of folks. Didn't have the contact, so that did work. The veterinarian was brought to life by that same group, right? So we spoke, had a conversation, with Mr. Newbold. We actually had a small conference at the Crescent City Library. I met the lady initially there. Came up, she went through the facilities, been able to help us. So some great relationships we've built over the last 2 months, starting into this new facility. I think it's going to be great opportunities for all of us. I mean, I can't speak highly enough of the fire rescue folks and the sheriff's office folks that put that aboard. They got 20 of our animals out of the shelter. The sad part is when we got rid of 20, we probably got 26 back in return. But I mean, but we have to keep moving, right? And I mean, we're building those relationships out there in that network in order for us to start moving some of those animals. So hopefully they're not with us for 210 days in that environment. And the environment we're building now with your guys' support is going to be a much greater environment for an animal to be in. So be happy to take any more questions. But yes, I had nothing to do with the transport other than helping foster the relationship with the animal welfare folks and our folks to help foster and get that program started.
Somebody's got to be the pretty face of the organization, and you're doing a great job of it.
I have a great one for radio.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak on miscellaneous items who didn't want to fill out a card? All right, moving into appointments, starting with Commissioner Palatka. Do you have any appointments?
I have none.
Commissioner Alexander?
No, ma'am, none today.
Commissioner Newbold?
Yes. Yes, I'd like to appoint Lisa King to the Animal Services Advisory Committee, and that's a District 1 appointment, I believe.
Okay. All right. No, Lisa King?
Lisa King, and I have her information. I believe I've sent it on to
All right.
office already.
All right, very good. Anything else?
No other appointments.
All right. Commissioner Harvey?
I have none.
And I have none. All right. Clerk of Court, any comments?
Good morning, Commissioners. I have nothing to update you on this morning. So.
I think you're doing a little bit more research on the ERP.
We are. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to get a copy of a county that I know that recently did an RFP. Going to take a look at theirs, just try to get our ducks in a row so that we'll be ready to move once we know how legislative session is going to go.
Yeah, so the legislative session, actually, their first committee week's this week. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be an appropriation request that the board decided. So we just need to know if it sounds like there's a potential it could be more than what we went with last year. So we just need to know that as soon as you have an idea.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Commando? Nothing today. Mr. Suggs?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. A couple of announcements this morning. Just want to let everyone know, even though we signed the documents for our Phase 1 water project with the Army Corps, that's our first of, I think, 6 phases, $30 million project. It's a $5 million project that we started quite some time ago. But unfortunately, there was a scrivener's error on the documents that you signed this morning, Madam Chair, so we're going to get some new ones this afternoon for you and Mr. Commando to sign, and we'll get those back out ASAP. So hopefully we can get our first project going in the next little while with that first phase. That's going to be our potable water project. As you know, it's 19.6 miles that we've been working on for quite some time. So that's good news.
That's good news. Good
and
news.
if I could, Mr. Baker, thank you, sir. I just want to officially welcome Mr. Baker to the role of Executive Director of Development Services. As you all know, we made that decision a couple weeks ago and just wanted to publicly announce that here today. And so just thank you all for your support in that decision. And Mr. Baker, we're just continuing to look for the good things that's come out of that office. So thank you so much for taking that opportunity. And don't forget, you got a management team that's here to support you, make you successful, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Madam Chair, that's all I have.
All right, and I will say that we did have the news station in here this morning, and I threw Mr. Suggs out there and said they wanted to actually talk about Port Putnam. And so I said, well, speak to Mr. Suggs, here he is. And then I left. So
yeah, that was an interesting text message followed up by a phone call, so don't worry about it. She'll be here at 8:15 in the morning.
Yeah, she's going to be here at 8:15.
But so I hope I answered the questions as well as I could, gave the support where support was directed. You 5 have been instrumental, as well as the previous 5, on pushing that project forward. Mr. Solomon's done a great job representing as well. Hopefully it's nice to see it's getting picked up. And the reason why it got picked up is you folks approved an application for a $10 million grant at your last board meeting with the understanding that we're going to have to kick in some dollars ourselves. And so I think anytime we can get that positive footage out there, the better off we are. I understand Mr. Sullivan was at a Ports Council meeting, and the newsletter that came out with Randy Fine, Congressman Fine being here, they want to pick that up and run with it as well. So I'd say absolutely. Any news is good news when we're talking about supporting our port and the ability to get the word out there.
Yeah, and I think Claire said if they are able to run a story, it might be tomorrow morning. So.
Yes, ma'am. And so please let me review it first. I may have to delete it, but no. Hopefully it went well. And she was very gracious and very helpful. So thank you.
Yeah, so we want to thank her for coming. And then she stuck around and stayed for our public hearing meeting on our planning and development. So we'll see what kind of information comes out. All right, moving into commissioner comments. We'll start to my right, Commissioner Palatka.
Yes, ma'am. A few things. Last meeting during commissioner comments, talked about properties that the county has that possibly we can put up for sale that get back on the tax rolls. Mr. Suggs told me he has a list pretty well compiled of that, so looking forward to digging into that maybe in our next meeting. Sometime we can start seeing what those things are. Back to Mr. Baker, I'd like to also congratulate him, and it appears he celebrated by a trip to the barber. So looking good back there. Had to do it. It was too good. I talked last meeting about the derelict vessels in the river, and maybe I jinxed them, but there's a freshly sank sailboat right off the city dock. But this is an eyesore that we need to address. And again, I want to encourage the local boaters, Commissioner Alexander, that'd be you, and others that are on the river way more than I, to bring us some locations and possibly some vessel ID registration numbers, anything that'll help identify where we can get this to FWC and get some help in getting these eyesores removed from the river.
They
So
actually had a salvage operation out there on that particular boat on Sunday. They started about 9 a.m. and when I came back by about 6 p.m. they had made no progress, but they did have some pretty yellow bags. So I'm not sure where they left that one.
Well, I can judge how deep the river is at that location. Pretty close.
Pretty
to the map,
evident, yeah.
Sticking up. The ferry landing, we've talked about that. This is Fort Gates down the south end of the county. And we knew there was some funding that had been allocated some time back, and it was returned for whatever reason. I wanted to be double sure before we move forward in getting this funding that this property is ours. I've done some research, and I want to get with Mr. Commando about reaching out. The lady that owns this, it appears, lives in California, and she owns several parcels right there along the front. So I would like to be able to direct staff here that we send a letter to this lady and see if she is receptive. If she's not receptive, there's no need to do anything or go any further of allowing us, in my opinion, if I'm correct there, Mr. Commando. He's giving me a nod for the audience. Anyhow, I would like to move forward with sending this lady a letter and see what her feelings are about if we can develop it, put the landing back there for the second oldest operating ferry in the state of Florida, as I understand. With that, I think that winds me up with everything I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I think Commissioner Harvey has a comment or question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Palacier, you talking about the west side on the forest side?
Yes, sir, Fort Gates.
Because I was always told we owned 10 or 20 feet, and then the forest owned, I don't want to call it a road because they don't like to call it roads, but the forest owned the property all the way back up. Is that not true today?
From what I can see on the GIS, the forest has, and it's called Forest Road 29, so it is a road. And this lady owns on both sides substantially wide and substantially deep. So,
including the landing? Not sure.
Well, that's technical, and that may be a surveyor issue that we have to, exactly the width of the road and then where her property starts and stops. I don't know, that could be a little more tricky, but.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, it is a challenge, I guess. Anything you guys have historically, if you'll share with Commissioner Palacier, I think that's always been the challenge, is that if that property is not, it's not county owned. So it's either owned by the Forest Service, the National Forest Service, or potentially private. And so even if it's forest, how is it that the county, now that you brought this out, how does the county apply for a grant that's not even our property, regardless of whether it's the Ocala National Forest?
I think that, again, is also a challenge, is to be answered, but we need to answer all these before we pursue funding, or funding's even available. Maybe a thing of the past. We may have nothing in this world to stand on unless someone else wanted to locate it on their property away from that location. But I understand what you're saying, Commissioner.
Yeah, I did meet with Sam Sullivan, and I had asked him if he could find the old appropriation, the one that we had returned, just so we could see what it said. I think he's working on seeing if he could find that. But Mr. Suggs, do you or somebody, you gonna have somebody look into this and get back with either the commission or at least Commissioner Palacier? And because obviously he's right, I don't want us to go spin our wheels in Tallahassee asking for money on property that we don't own, or that we don't have a right to, or that I don't understand how.
Yes, ma'am, we'll absolutely look into that. And we've done some research in the past, and I'll get with our paralegal, because I think one of our previous attorneys had done some work. So we'll look at all of that, and we'll also look at the we'll see if we can find the funding request, because that was done before we arrived. But we'll find those items and see what we got with.
Yeah,
and I'll get with Commissioner Palacier, and then at the appropriate time come back to the board.
And as far as the ferry itself, it was privately held, but we had an agreement with them. Is that the way it was?
I believe that is correct.
Okay, all right. But then it's the landing that's the issue, which is why they. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. The landing was destroyed, I believe, with Hurricane Irma, and so we'll go back and look and see what kind of documentation we can find, and And we'll come back, like I said, I'll get with Commissioner Palacier, and then we'll bring it back to the board as a whole at the appropriate time.
Yeah.
As I said, if we're gonna do this, let's do it right, and I think to do it right, we're gonna have to involve the services of a surveyor to detect the road right-of-way width that the forest owns, and then this lady's property on both sides thereof. Where exactly does it stop and start, and can it be done?
Yeah. Okay, all right, very good.
I'm
Good
done.
comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Just a very exciting day with the approval, or at least the initial approval of the racetrack. Very happy to see the progress with animal services. That's close to my heart, Want to thank you guys and, for including me in this commission, and everybody having a good relationship and very respectful. That's not always seen in public forum. I think that speaks volumes for our community and our town. We saw a number of families that are coming in and growing the property for Key Hydraulics, the Legasse's, Charlie Douglas. All of these are homegrown folks that are reinvesting in our community, and every one of us. We stayed because we love the place, and I think that speaks volumes. Don't really have anything else to go over other than that, but great meeting.
All right, very good. Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
I have two quick items. One of them was just another piece of positive news. I think it was last Wednesday, my dad was watching CBS Evening News, and the Putnam County logo pops up, and he says, "Oh God, they've got a disaster in Putnam County." And that was the first thing that came to mind. And lo and behold, it was a national news piece on QI Roberts School, and specifically the Cambridge program. And it was a really positive piece done nationally, recognizing Putnam's Cambridge program as, the #1 Cambridge program in the country for small school districts. So what a big deal. We've got a lot of positive coming, for us here in Putnam County. So anyway, kudos to the school system, the administration, the teachers, the parents that support those kids and the kids themselves. So it's a lot of good stuff there. Anyway, one other thing, last week, I guess it was last week, a few days back, I attended the 9/11 program put on by County Fire and EMS at the fairgrounds. It was a great program. Hopefully we can get more and more attendance there every year, because it was very well done, and just a great way to celebrate 9/11 and the National Day of Prayer. While I was there at the grounds, the building that we approved some funding for, or I guess just a workaround with money for a FEMA reconstruction, they were doing a roof on the old Loving Animal Barn. So I think great progress going on there. There is one eyesore of a building out there on those grounds. The
kitchen.
The kitchen. For those, it's the Marie Phillips building, but we all call it the kitchen. If you want good food at the fair, you go get your home in there.
Right.
But it has an old ratty roof on it, and I understand about 25 grand will repair the metal and woodwork, and I'd like to push a little of my discretionary funds towards that, and I would love to convince some other commissioners to chip in with me.
Well, I'll match you on that, because I haven't got to do anything at the fairgrounds yet, so I'll be glad to match you. I don't know, you want to split it? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Whatever it
I
is?
mean, if we could get 5 each, it wouldn't hurt much of us, any of us, and
If Young could give me a balance of what I might have left, I'd be glad to.
You'll be okay.
Okay, I could
All right.
do the same.
I'm good with giving 5.
okay, well, I'd make a
All right. I
Thank
think
you,
got it.
sir.
Are you good, Mr. Alexander?
Oh, yeah. I think Ms. Holmes, well, I was good, but I told Ms.
y'all just
Holmes, I just
remember
want to
that.
make sure I had something left.
Yeah.
You're spent. You're done.
Yeah. If he doesn't have it, you can take
we'll
it out
make
of
it
mine.
up.
Mr. Grimes? I say,
While we were stopped at the fairgrounds, I just wanted to kind of bring you guys up to speed. I did the roof on the one building. Mr. Newbold just said the name of it. I'm sorry I
Loving
didn't hear
Animal.
it, but the
Loving
roof, we got to
Livestock
go
one.
check it and make sure it is complete. So that one should be done. They have put the epoxy. I just kind of want to give the board and the community an update. The epoxy floor has been put down inside of the conference center. I think the final coats are going on after I attended the Fair Authority meeting the other day with Mr. Newbold. That was done, and I've spoken with the contractor about the interior of I'm gonna call it the racetrack. It reminds me of a racetrack inside. It's a paved circle that's inside of the barn.
hall?
He did ask for a little grace in that one because it's hot and asphalt's hot. And he asked if we could let it cool off just a little bit because the employees and all have to work inside of the barn area without very good ventilation. So I didn't have an issue with that. I was letting the weather outside cool down a bit so they could go in there, not quite so hot. So he's going to start that I'd probably say the first couple of weeks of October when it kind of cools off a little bit. But all the rest of those projects have just about been completed at the fairgrounds. Just kind of want to keep you guys up to date of where those were.
Very good. Thank you for that.
That's all I have. Thank you guys for participating. That's a nice step forward.
It's funny you said that because when I was out there, I was thinking, man, there's that one building we need to fix. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to give a shout out to our commissioners that were able to attend the Florida Association of Counties conference up in Gainesville last week, and thank our staff for articulating the needs of the water systems that the counties inherited, not on our own choice, but our staff did a tremendous job explaining that, and the Florida Association of County staff took it upon themselves, and they're going to research it and bring it forward. But Julianne and Mr. Suggs and JR did a great job in that, and we stood in solidarity on that issue, and it was well received. Also want to bring to your attention Georgia's boat ramp. Since we last talked and we agreed to go out for an appraisal, Mr. Denny has come back with a different project, I would say, Julianne. He went from 3.4 acre to 8.4 for the same price. So we let our appraiser know that, something to that effect is the acreage. But he increased the acreage up to right around 8 acres. So you want to expound on that, Julianne? And
Well, at this point, all we have done is we've received the counteroffer by the seller to make it not the parcel that has always been thought of as the traditional leased area of Putnam County, but that 8.4 acres. So we revised the scope of work for the appraiser, who is obtaining the valuation study for us to include that acreage area, because that is what now is offering for sale, not the smaller parcel. So when we get all that information back, along with his offer, we'll bring it back to the board for consideration.
And that would have to be cut out of his larger tract of land?
It will be, yes, because it is one parcel at this point.
That's what I thought. Commissioner Palacier?
He's adding an additional 5-ish acres thereabouts. I'd like to know what's there. I don't want to peel the palmettos back so-called and find a big old pack of rattlesnakes in there that we don't want. So before we accept, certainly we'll need to find out what additional it might be there that hidden that we can't see as of right now.
well, Madam Chair, like I said in the beginning, this thing has been all over the place since the time staff met with Mr. Denny, and so we're at a new crossroad. But I agree, Commissioner Palacier, the appraiser is going to pick that up. We'll see exactly what it is, and we'll see if we want to purchase it at that time. So, but Madam Chair, those are my final remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. A couple of things I want to talk about. This board had approved the sex offender ordinance, and I've spoken with Alex Sharp and Under Sheriff Blunt, and it sounds like that there will be presenting those at all 5 municipalities in the county, and they would be up for consideration. Also, I have a niece who lives in Northport, and she wrote a letter to the city asking them to take up the same sex offender ordinance that we have. The city didn't really take it up, and she called me, and I said, reach out to your sheriff. So now she is having serious discussions with the sheriff of Sarasota County, and she felt like it was getting some positive traction on that. So we could be, once again, on the trendsetters. And a couple things I want to speak to you about. We did meet, Mr. Sinai met with the city mayor, the city of Palatka's attorney, and their interim manager, and we provided them with 3 dates. And we also, they typically hold their meetings at 6 p.m. We hold ours at 9 a.m. So I suggested a 3 p.m. meeting date, meeting time. And like I said, we've given them 3 dates, one in November, one in December, and one in January. So we are waiting to hear from them. And you haven't heard from them yet, Mr. Suggs. And then I do want to talk about the county commission holiday schedule. We normally only hold one meeting in December, which is the first meeting of the month. So I just want to make sure that this board is okay with not holding the second meeting because it's right there at Christmas time.
Sure.
So is that okay with everybody? And then in addition, we looked at our November calendar, and it's because holidays again, I'm suggesting that we look at potentially having a third Tuesday meeting, which would be November 18th, instead of the 1st and 4th. We'd have one meeting in the middle of the month. So I need everybody to sort of look at their calendar and make sure that would be okay. Just so, because the concern was if we had it, 11th is Veterans Day. And so county government's shut down on Veterans Day usually. And then the 25th would be the second meeting that we normally would have scheduled, and it's just 2 days before Thanksgiving. A lot of people are traveling and they're out of town. So the suggestion is that we have a meeting on November 18th, and if we approve it today, then that would give us time to make sure we advertise it correctly.
Madam Chair, are you saying that would be our only meeting in November, would be the 18th?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm proposing.
And just, Madam Chair, just in full transparency, not that this should change the plan, but on the first and third Tuesdays, I already have a prior conflict.
Okay.
And we have a Development Authority meeting on the 18th.
We will have to move that one, it sounds
We'll
like.
have to move it.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, I mean, our second meeting falls on Veterans Day, and our first meeting of the month, which would normally be November 11th, is Veterans Day, and the 25th is 2 days before Thanksgiving. So a lot of people were traveling that week, so I was trying to find something in between. If there's another suggestion, I'll be glad to get up.
I'm good with it.
All right,
Yeah, we'll just make it work.
we'll just make it work.
Yeah.
All right, with that being said, it sounds like we're going to have one meeting in November, which will be on the 18th. And then the second meeting that we'll have, or the only meeting we would have in December, would be traditionally on December 9th, because December 23rd, obviously, is Christmas Eve, right? Christmas Eve.
And your grandkids.
And anything that needs to be handled, we can certainly, if there's an emergency, Mr. Suggs, or something that has to be handled, we can certainly call an emergency meeting if needed, if there's some outstanding issue. All right, with that, that's all I have. Is there anything else to come before the board? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Recessed. I even wrote it down. The meeting is recessed. We have a 5:05 meeting, public hearing meeting.